Nepal projects 3.85 economic growth amid mixed fiscal signals, rising debt, strong remittances and structural challenges shaping outgoing fiscal outlook. Nepal suspends non-emergency insurance services at private hospitals amid financial strain. Health Insurance Board revises rates. Everest faces crises as record climbers spark urgent calls for limit and conservation. Summiters warn of congestion and climate impact. Israeli strike in central Gaza reportedly kills a Hamas commander. Ceasefire violations continue. DR Congo calls for humanitarian corridor as new Ebola outbreak sparks global health alert. WHO flags Bundibugyo strain risk. And Nepal opens Women's Asia Games qualifier with 19 run with over China. Pooja Mahato's 63 powers Nepal. Good evening, I'm Suviksha Rajak and this is NTV World Primetime News. We are coming to you live from Kathmandu at 1900 hours Nepal time. Elsewhere, it's 13:15 in London, 22:15 in Tokyo and just after midnight in Sydney. The details now. Nepal's government has projected that the national economy will grow 3.85% in the current fiscal year. According to the economic survey presented in the House of Representatives by Finance Minister Dr. Swarnim Wagle. The survey outlines key macroeconomic indicators estimating the country's total economy at 6.6 trillion rupees with per capita gross national income at $1,535, while noting that agriculture contributes 24% and non-agricultural sectors 76% to GDP, with Bagmati province alone accounting for 36.7%. It also highlights mixed fiscal trends, including low average inflation of 2.13%, rising public debt reaching 2,878 billion rupees, 43.6% of GDP, and a widening trade deficit that has increased by 11.2%, even as remittance inflows have surged by 37.7% and foreign exchange reserves remain strong. The report adds that social and development indicators show progress with near universal electricity access, improvements in life expectancy to 71.3 years, a human development index of 0.622 and expanded participation in health insurance, social security and pension systems across millions of citizens. Despite these positive signals, the economic survey notes persistent structural challenges such as weak capital expenditure, uneven provincial growth, rising debt, and slow private sector credit expansion, reflecting the ongoing need for stronger economic reforms and investment efficiency. During an emergency session of Nepal's House of Representatives, lawmakers raised a range of public safety and disaster-related concerns, drawing the government's attention to challenges affecting daily life across the country. They urged authorities to ensure wider availability of dialysis machines in hospitals nationwide, highlighting gaps in critical healthcare access outside major urban centers. Lawmakers also referenced a recent drowning incident in Taikekhola, Mugu, involving a person identified as Pema Lama during a Yashagumba collection trip, noting that the body has not yet been recovered. Concerns were further raised over reoccurring wildlife-related damages, including attacks in areas such as Suklafata in Kanchanpur, alongside growing reports of crop destruction caused by monkeys affecting farmers in multiple regions. The session also emphasized the need for stronger disaster preparedness measures, including improved traffic management, settlement relocation, and landslide control to reduce risk from floods and unseasonal rains, which cut to pose reoccurring threats across Nepal's diverse geography. Nepal's Federal Parliament Secretariat says preparation for conducting upcoming parliamentary sessions, including the national budget presentation scheduled for May 29th, are being rapidly completed in the newly constructed Federal Parliament building's main meeting hall. However, locals confirm that despite initial plans, the budget will not be presented from the main chamber due to pending technical installations and will instead take place in the currently operational meeting room. The new parliamentary hall has been upgraded into a fully digital system featuring electronic voting facilities that allow lawmakers to cast votes directly from their seats, eliminating the need for physical movement during decision-making processes. The chamber is also equipped with an automated audiovisual system, including intelligent cameras that track speakers and broadcast proceedings live on multiple video walls, alongside dedicated facilities for media personnel to observe sessions. Officials have expressed confidence that while some technological work remains incomplete, the main hall will be fully operational in the time for future budget deliberations and legislative proceedings, marking a transition toward a more modern parliamentary infrastructure in Nepal. Nepal's Health Insurance Board has announced a major change in the delivery of insured healthcare services, suspending all non-emergency insurance services at private health institutions amid financial pressures. In an official notice sent to private hospitals, the board stated that the suspension has taken effect from May 30 and will remain in place until further notice, with only emergency services continuing under the insurance scheme. The board has also streamlined its benefit package by removing duplicate programs and unused medicines, using the insured medicine list from 1,289. They are reducing it to 1,170 types as part of cost control measures. In addition, it has revised the long-standing Suvidha Thaili rates for medicine surgeries, laboratory tests and other medical services, marking the first such adjustment since the health insurance program was introduced. Authorities have directed all participating health institutions to implement the new pricing structure from May 30, a move that reflects ongoing efforts to stabilize the insurance system's finances while balancing service delivery constant. Time now for a short break. We shall be back with more updates. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World Primetime News. Now the remaining updates. Western Europe is experiencing an intense record-breaking heatwave, with parts of France and the United Kingdom recording their highest ever May temperatures as a strong heat dome pushes hot air north from Africa. In the northern French coastal city of Saint-Malo, residents say they were caught off guard by the sudden rise in temperatures. With many turning to the sea, fans and shaded public spaces to cope with the heat across the region, people have flocked to beaches, fountains and parks, while some households are even considering air conditioning for the first time due to unusually warm nights. Meteorologists say the heat wave could persist through the week, with temperatures in parts of France expected to climb close to 39 degrees Celsius, while officials urge caution despite no declared emergency situation. Likewise, extreme heat and hot winds, commonly known as Loo, are severely affecting daily life in Nepal's southern Tarai Plains, where temperatures have repeatedly crossed 40 degrees Celsius in recent days. Meteorologists say the region is experiencing an ongoing heat wave with warnings that temperatures this year could approach or even break previous records as several monitoring stations across the country. The Met Division has cautioned that hot conditions are expected to persist today, particularly in the Tarai regions of Sudur Pashchim and Lumini provinces, urging people to take necessary precautions. At the same time, weather officials have forecast scattered rainfall and gusty winds in parts of Nepal, including the Kathmandu Valley, influenced by westerly and local wind systems along with a low-pressure area near eastern Nepal. The update reflects highly variable pre-monsoon weather conditions across Nepal, where intense heat in the southern plain is being accompanied by unstable atmospheric activity, leading to localized rain and wind gusts in hills and Tarai regions. As the highest number of summiteers conquered Mount Everest this spring, the same debate as unusual has arisen. Should the permits be capped into certain number every season or more efforts be made to preserve the pristine Himalayan ecosystem? These realities took on a sharper focus at the Everest Summiteers Summit 2026, a rare convergence of those who have stood atop the world. Sabika Shrestha takes a closer look at the agenda and opinions of the summiters.
In 2026, Mount Everest witnessed its busiest climbing season in history, with Nepal issuing an unprecedented 492 permits from the southern route. The surge reaffirmed the mountain's unmatched allure and delivered a windfall of over 1.7 billion rupees in royalty revenue. But beyond the numbers lies the more complicated reality. Everest is becoming a victim of its own popularity. Veteran climbers, including Kamirita Sherpa, have begun to sound the alarm. Congestion near the summit, where climbers queue for hours in the dead zone, is no longer an exception. It is fast becoming the norm. Each delay at extreme altitude increases risk, turning ambition into vulnerability. These realities took on sharper focus at the Everest Summiters Summit 2026, a rare convergence of those who have stood atop the world. More than a ceremonial gathering, it became a platform where lived experiences met urgent advocacy. Summiters described how climate change is visibly reshaping the mountain glaciers retreating, icefall routes becoming unpredictable, and weather patterns growing increasingly erratic. Everest, they stressed, is no longer the same mountain it was even a decade ago.
We need to have stronger regulations in terms of waste, because there are places where you can see waste, like in Camp 4, there's waste definitely. Taking everything back, I think, should be one of the first priority. Also in terms of how many people you have climbing on a specific day, there should be some type of regulations.
A major concern echoed throughout the summit was environmental degradation, particularly at Camp 4, the final staging ground before the summit push. Summiters called for immediate, systematic cleaning operations and stricter enforcement of waste management protocols. Many participants argued that Nepal must move toward regulating climber numbers not as a restriction of ambition, but as a safeguard for lives and the mountain itself.
सार्टिफाई गरेर मात्रै उनीहरुले परमिट दिने खालको एउटा चाहिँ रुल चाहिँ बनाउनु पर्छ रुल रेगुलेसन बनायो भने चाहिँ किनभने 7000 मिटर चढ्यो भने चाहिँ उनीहरुले चाहिँ माउन्टेनियरिङको चाहिँ अलिकति नलेज आउँछ जुनै नेपालको जुनै बेकमा पनि अब चाहिँ गाइड बिना चाहिँ विदेशीहरुलाई चाहिँ अलर्ट नगर्ने खालको बनाउनु पर्छ किनभने चाहिँ धेरै ठाउँमा विदेशीहरु हराइरहेछ आफै गएर हैन सोलो गएर मोड्ने पनि मोडिरहेछ हैन त्यही भएर त्यसले चाहिँ जहिले पनि एउटा गाइड अथवा एउटा पोर्टल लगेर चाहिँ जाने निर्णय चाहिँ सरकारी तहबाट हुनुपर्छ जस्तो चाहिँ मलाई लाग्छ.
Proposals included limiting permits, staggering summit windows, and tightening qualification criteria to ensure only adequately prepared climbers attempt the ascent. Beyond policy, the summit carried a deeper message. Everest is not just a destination, it is a shared responsibility. The Everest Summiters Summit ultimately reframed the conversation. It shifted the focus from conquest to conservation, from individual achievement to collective accountability. The future of Everest will not be defined by how many reach the top, but by how well it is preserved by those who follow. Sabika Shrestha with camera person Pradyumna Dhungel reporting for NTV World.
In the mountainous areas and low-lying regions of Nepal, thousands of students face perilous daily journeys just to attend school. They often navigate steep cliffs and endure multi-hour walks through dense forests, facing the risk of wildlife, all in pursuit of their education. Children in Dhakela village of Bardia district face similar hardships every day. With no secondary level school in the village, students must travel through a long stretch of the buffer zone of Bardia National Park to attend school in neighboring localities. Our local correspondent from Bardia, Humendra Thapa, brings a report.
She is Samiksha Dangi, an 8th grade student from Dhakela village, Ward number 9 of Bardia district, Nepal. Every morning at 8 a.m., she leaves home and it takes her nearly 2 hours to reach her school. Like Samiksha, 130 other determined students from same village who wish to continue their secondary education have no choice but to travel 5 to 7 kilometers through dense forest to reach Dharma Bhakta Secondary School in Katernia. Dhakela and Katernia are neighboring localities situated near Bardia National Park in Bardia district, which makes the risk of wildlife attacks significantly higher. Their daily route is full of challenges, rough and narrow trails, constant fear of wildlife, and even greater danger during the monsoon season. Samiksha says that for schoolgirls, the journey is not only exhausting and filled with fear of wild animals, but also frightening because of encounters with intoxicated individuals along the way.
एउटा कुरा त बाटो पिच पनि होस् अनि स्कुलमा सरले मिलाएर गाडी पनि हाल्दिने मतलब ढकैलातिर.
Every day these students risk their safety simply to attend a school. This is their reality, as the local village school only offers education up to grade 5. Despite these hardships, the children remain determined. However, their parents live with heavy hearts each day until their children return home safely.
समस्या छ, बाघ आउँछन्, भालु लाग्छन्, कहिलेकाहीँ पानी पर्छ, केटाकेटीहरूको पानी परेको बेलामा हावाहुरी आउँछ, अनि फेरि रुख ढल्छ, त्यो रुखको परछ एकदम त्यो पढाइ पनि कहिलेकाहीँ बिग्रिन्छ.
The school administration has repeatedly raised concerns about student safety with the local authorities and the provincial government. Yet, for more than 100 children in Dhakela village, the situations remain unchanged and their daily struggle to continue their education continues to go unheard by the authorities.
Communities living along the Thadi and Wakot border in central Nepal, near the Kuduli area and the Pancharedara landfill site that serves the Kathmandu Valley, are reporting worsening environmental and public health conditions linked to waste disposal practices. Residents allege that untreated landfill leachate, liquid that forms when rainwater passes through waste, has been flowing into nearby rivers without proper scientific treatment, raising concerns about water contamination. The polluted runout is reportedly entering the Kolpu River system, which is a key local resource used by surrounding communities for irrigation, livestock, and daily household needs, making the impact both agricultural and domestic in nature. Farmers say exposure to the contaminated water has been associated with skin diseases and other health problems, while also reporting reduced crop productivity and illness among livestock that depend on the same water sources. The situation reflects ongoing challenges in solid waste management in rapidly urbanizing regions around Kathmandu, where inadequate treatment and monitoring of landfill byproducts can have serious downstream effects on rural communities and ecosystems. In Nepal's Western Hill district of Syangza, repeated floods and landslides have been severely affecting rural communities that rely heavily on agriculture for their livelihoods. Terraced farmland across the region have been increasingly washed away in recent years, deepening hardship for farming families depend on small-scale cultivation. Near Swami Boat, a settlement of 32 households is now living under constant risk of landslides, with the residents reporting continued fear for their safety as the ground remains unstable. Local infrastructure, including roads and food trails connecting Gurundi Chap to the Alam Devi temple area, has also suffered extensive damage, with residents and local representatives say long-standing warnings have not been met with effective mitigation since 2019, prompting experts to call for urgent relocation. The situation highlights a broader challenge in Nepal's hill regions, where climate-driven extreme rainfall and fragile terraced landscapes frequently combine to trigger recurring landslide hazards. International news coming up next. For now, a short breather. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World Primetime News. Hamas military commander Mohammed Odey has reportedly been killed in an Israeli strike in central Gaza City. According to local Hamas sources and relatives, the attack targeted a residential building in a crowded market district ahead of the Eid al-Adha holiday, with local medics reporting at least 3 people killed and dozens injured. Israel's military said the operation followed months of intelligence surveillance and targeted buildings allegedly used as a hideout by Odey and his associates. The strike comes despite an existing ceasefire agreement, as violence continues across Gaza with near daily exchanges between Israeli forces and Palestinian militants. At least 31 people, including children, have been killed in a major wave of Israeli airstrikes across southern and eastern Lebanon, according to Lebanese health authorities. The Israeli military says it targeted more than 100 Hezbollah sites and fighters, marking one of the heaviest bombardments since a U.S.-brokered ceasefire came into effect in April. The escalation follows Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's pledge to intensify military operations against Hezbollah. Speaking at a security cabinet meeting in Jerusalem, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel was intensifying operations in Lebanon and reinforcing a security buffer zone to protect communities in northern Israel.
בהנחיה שלי ושל שר הביטחון, יחד עם הרמטכ"ל, אנחנו מעמיקים את הפעולה שלנו בלבנון. צה"ל פועל עם כוחות גדולים בשטח ותופס שטחים שולטים. אנחנו מבצרים את רצועת הביטחון כדי להגן על יישובי הצפון.
Meanwhile, air raid sirens were activated in northern Israel after a projectile was launched from Lebanon, further raising concerns over widening regional instability. Iran's Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei has warned that countries in the Middle East will no longer serve as shields for U.S. military bases amid continuing tensions between Iran and the United States. The remarks come despite an ongoing ceasefire and continued negotiations aimed at ending months of regional conflict.
آنچه در این زمین مسلم است، عقربه زمان به عقب بر نمی‌گردد و ملت‌ها و سرزمین‌های منطقه دیگر سپر پایگاه‌های آمریکایی نخواهند بود. آمریکا علاوه بر آن که دیگر نقطه امنی برای شرارت و استقرار پایگاه نظامی در منطقه نخواهد داشت، روز به روز از وضع سابق خود فاصله می‌گیرد.
More than 1.7 million Muslim pilgrims have gathered in Mecca for the annual Hajj pilgrimage, with worshippers performing Eid al-Adha prayer at the Grand Mosque under intense summer heat. Saudi authorities have deployed thousands of medical personnel and emergency workers after deadly heat conditions during last year's pilgrimage, when temperatures exceeded 50 degrees Celsius. Meanwhile, hundreds of worshippers in Tehran also marked Eid al-Adha prayers under a fragile ceasefire between Iran and the United States. More international news and sports updates on the other side of this short break. Stay with us. Rescue teams from Thailand are racing to save 7 villagers trapped inside a flooded cave in neighboring Laos for more than a week. The group entered the cave in Saisomboon province on May 20 before rising floodwaters blocked their exit. Thai cave rescue specialists have joined local emergency crews in pumping water from the cave system and surveying interior passages in an effort to reach those trapped underground. Rescuers say water levels have dropped significantly, improving access inside the cave and raising hopes for a successful extraction operation. Authorities continue to monitor conditions closely as search teams work against time to locate and safely evacuate the villagers. Officials in the Democratic Republic of the Congo are calling for a humanitarian corridor following a new Ebola outbreak that has prompted an international health alert from the WHO. The outbreak, declared on May 15th, is linked to the Bundibugyo strain of the Ebola virus, for which there is currently no approved vaccine or specific treatment. Health authorities warn the disease carries a fatality rate of up to 50%, raising concerns over containment efforts and access to medical support in affected regions. Government ministers say humanitarian access is urgently needed to deliver aid, strengthen surveillance, and help prevent further spread of the virus. With that, we move on to sports. Nepal has begun its campaign in the Women's Cricket Asian Games qualifier in Malaysia with a 19-run victory over China in the opening match. Batting first after winning the toss, Nepal posted 125 for 5 in their allotted overs, with Pooja Mahato anchoring the innings with a well-compiled 63 of 57 balls, including 6 boundaries. In response, China managed 106 for 5 despite a steady effort from Zhu Mengge, who top-scored with 30 runs as Nepal's bowling attack held firm under pressure. Riya Sharma played a key role with the ball for Nepal, taking 2 wickets, while China's Kuki picked up 2 wickets and Wang Weiying and Li Jinping claimed 1 each in a competitive contest. The Six Nation tournament features teams divided into 2 groups, with Nepal placed in Group B alongside China and Indonesia, and the top 3 teams overall qualifying for the 20th Asian Games in Japan, with Nepal set to face Indonesia in their next match. A public roster reveal event for an upcoming FIFA World Cup campaign drew large crowds in New York, where fans gathered to see the final squad selection announced. During a press conference held, coach Mauricio Pochettino said he didn't sleep much in the weeks leading up to the announcement, describing the decision-making process as painful. He explained that the selection was guided by the need to achieve the best balance in the 26 players chosen for the tournament squad. The event highlighted the intense scrutiny surrounding final team selections as nations finalized their lineups for football's biggest global competition. In the FIFA World Cup format, national team coaches are required to trim wider preliminary squads down to a fixed 26-player roster, balancing form, fitness and tactical needs under strict tournament regulations. And before we wrap up, here's a reminder of our top stories. Nepal projects 3.85 economic growth amid mixed fiscal signals. Rising debt, strong remittances and structural challenges shape outgoing fiscal outlook. Nepal suspends non-emergency insurance services at private hospitals amid financial strain. Everest faces crisis as record climbers spark urgent calls for limits and conservation. Summit tiers warn of congestion and climate impact. Israeli strike in central Gaza reportedly kills Hamas commander. Ceasefire violations continue. DR Congo calls for humanitarian corridor as new Ebola outbreak sparks global health alert. WHO flags Bundibugyo strain risk. And Nepal opens Women's Asia Games qualifiers with 19-run win over China. Pooja Mahato 63 powers Nepal. That's it for this edition of Primetime News. Our next bulletin will be at 2200 hours Nepal time. Do join us through our social media and get the latest updates from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. I'm Suveksha Rajak and thank you for staying with us. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu. Public Service Broadcasting, PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World, facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World.
Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering the timeless Nepal.
Telling stories that endure across centuries. Where culture breathes, stories bloom.
When the world moves, we make a sense of it.
NTV World. Taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells the story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands. Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
one story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices, where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by. Mic is on.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
Hello and welcome to The Perspective on NTV World. I am Sabika Shrestha, your host for the program. From major headlines to the issues behind them, we break down the week's top stories and explore how they are shaping the path forward. One of the major issues making headlines last week was the downsizing of Nepal government's administrative structure. As per the 100-point commitment paper, the Balendra Shah-led Rashtriya Swatantra Party government cut down the existing 22 ministries into 18. It was one of the most expected moves of the government, but the implications have not been very smooth on the ground. Weeks after government downsized ministries to 18, confusion looms large over their overlapping jurisdiction and chain of command. Unclear allocation of responsibilities, lack of communication, and arrangements leave both citizens and civil employees struggling to navigate the new system. Confusion loomed large in the offices of the ministries inside Singhadarbar that had been merged or split. Here's the story. The government's move to reduce the number of federal ministries from 22 to 18, intended to streamline governance and cut costs, has led to mounting confusion among service seekers and government employees. Due to unclear jurisdiction and organizational structure, not just the service seekers, even the employees look confused. Although the cabinet endorsed the Nepal government allocation of business regulations, merging ministries with overlapping jurisdictions, the transition on the ground remains disorganized. Service seekers report being unsure where to go for basic services, often being redirected from one office to another after the transition. The lack of clarity extends within the bureaucracy itself. Civil employees are still operating from their previous workstations, uncertain about new reporting lines and departmental responsibilities. In several cases, merged ministries have been temporarily labeled as Block A, Block B, and even Block C without clear indication of which services are housed in which block. Adding to the confusion, outdated signboards of former ministries continue to remain in place, misguiding visitors. Even security personnel stationed at ministry premises have not been adequately briefed, leaving them unable to guide the public effectively. Further complicating matters, the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation has been placed under the Prime Minister's office, but a separate building or clear physical allocation has yet to be designated after MP Mahabir Pun demanded single ministry for the research works. This has created additional uncertainty for both employees and service recipients. While the restructuring aims for long-term administrative efficiency, the current lack of coordination, clear communication, and proper logistical planning has exposed serious gaps in implementation. The government must urgently ensure clear allocation of ministries, proper signage, and public communication to prevent further disruption in public service delivery. As soon as the cabinet level decision come to effect, officials inside Singadarbar, the administrative headquarters of the country, officials were busy changing the boards of ministries. Changing the set bureaucratic system so long established is definitely not going to be as easy as changing the board. How will the state coordinate workflows, reintegrate officials and navigate this major bureaucratic transition is yet to be seen. Diksha Avasti looks more into it.
The government has recently decided to reduce the number of ministries from 22 to 18. The decision is official, and we can see the name boards being changed at Singadarbar to reflect the new structure. But the real transition unfolds now. After the decision, how will the government reshuffle and reintegrate the officials working in the ministries and departments? And how will the workflow and coordination go after the official decision? With the aim of making government services more efficient and reducing expenditure, the government carried out a structural overhaul by downsizing ministries. Now it has unfolded a transitioning task of restructuring the entire administrative system. To make this transition official, the government has introduced the Work Division Regulations 2083, a framework that redistributes responsibilities of merged and dissolved ministries. In simple terms, it decides which ministry will now handle which work. But beyond paperwork, the challenge now is managing people and systems. From shifting employees and departments to integrating ministry websites, records, and internal digital systems, the government is now working on a full administrative adjustment. To managing this transition, a joint team of officials has started preparing an organization and management survey, also known as the O&M survey. The report of this survey will determine how many employees are actually needed, how departments will be divided, and how the new structure will function. Alongside this, restructuring is also expected to create new technical responsibilities, requiring employees to undergo training related to IT systems, including ministry websites and internal software management.
सबभन्दा पहिले गर्नुपर्ने चाहिँ संगठन तथा व्यवस्थापन सर्वेक्षणको काम हो। त्यो विषयमा मन्त्रालयले आन्तरिक रूपमा तयारी गरिरहेको छ। संगठन तथा व्यवस्थापन परीक्षणको प्रतिवेदन तयार हुन्छ। त्यो प्रतिवेदनले नि कुन वर्गको कुन तहको कुन श्रेणीको कर्मचारी रहने हैन कुन शाखा महाशाखाहरू रहने हैन भन्ने विषयहरू निर्धारण गर्छ।
Officials admit that downsizing the ministries could create surplus manpower, but employees will not be removed immediately. Instead, surplus staffs will gradually be adjusted into vacant positions in other government agencies. The government also plans to slow down new recruitments for some time and prioritize adjusting existing employees first.
कतिपय कर्मचारीहरू हैन चाहिँ त्यो बढी हुने फाजिलमा पर्ने पनि हुन सक्छ। त्यसको लागि चाहिँ हामीले रिक्त भएका पदहरूमा अन्य निकायहरूमा त्यसलाई क्रमशः हामी मिलान गर्दै जाने र त्यसको लागि हुन सक्छ केही समयलाई हामीले पदपूर्ति नियमित रूपमा हुने पदपूर्तिलाई पनि होल्ड गर्नुपर्ने पनि हुन सक्छ।
Experts, however, say the success of this restructuring will depend not only on merging ministries but also on how efficiently the government manages staff, technology, and public service delivery in the coming months.
We are now joined virtually on the perspective by former Secretary Kesav Sharma to gain further insights and perspective on this matter. Welcome to the perspective, sir.
Thank you.
So as we know, government has already reduced a lot of ministries in last few days. So will reducing the number of ministries genuinely improve governance, efficiency, or create coordination challenges?
Yes, it is supposed that in the past there were different ministries for the same work. For example, Ministry of Physical Infrastructure and Transport, Ministry of Urban Development, and Ministry of Local Development, Former Local Development. This is Parliamentary Affairs. These all ministries used to construct the roads, right, under their entities like Department of Roads under Ministry of Physical Infrastructure and Transport, Ministry of Urban Development and Building Construction under Ministry of Urban Development, and Department of Local Infrastructure Development under the Federal Affairs Ministry. So for the same work, many entities were there. Similarly, in case of water supply, Urban Development Ministry, Ministry of Water Supply and Sanitation, and Ministry of Federal Affairs, all they were engaged for the same field. Chances of miscoordinations were happening. After the merger of the ministries, looking after the same field or the scope, will suppose that the coordination and service delivery will be improved.
So what are the biggest administrative risks during this transition, especially in terms of policy, continuity and service delivery?
This can be taken as a risk because now the restructuring will limit the bureaucratic positions, that is some vacancies or some posts will be eliminated. Similarly, the policy, I think policy is the government's policy. This should be, there should be no threat to discontinuation, because the every sector's policy is remain there already. So problem is for the management of the employees. They are employing in the ministry now. After the merger, many divisions will be removed. Repeated. For example, if there is 3 ministries merged, then maybe the planning division, administrative division of the ministries will be only one for new ministry after the merger. So in the perspective of employees, there may be some difficulties for the time being, but as the retirement is a continuous process and going on, and also fulfilling the vacancies already in the different level of governments, that is the federal government, provincial government and local level. Also the excess employees can be managed in this way. I think for the policy, that not that much risk. But I can share with you one additional risk, that is, if the ministry is too big in the portfolio and the scope, the officials, especially the high-level officials who makes the final decision, will be overloaded. That is the chance there. It can also be managed by decentralizing or delegation of the decision power to the various levels of officials to manage the time of the decision makers, especially the secretary. Will be overloaded otherwise if the ministry is very much bigger.
So, Mr. Sarma, as we know, this move is going to affect a lot of employees who were working under Nepal government, right? So, how should the government manage civil servants? How should government manage civil employees affected by mergers or eliminations of ministries?
O&M survey will give the roadmap for managing the employees. Probably somewhere the employees are excess, somewhere there is deficiency even in the central government, federal government, and if still it become excess, then the government may manage with transferring them to the sub-national governments, probably.
So what
key indicators should be used to evaluate whether these restructuring is actually successful in the long run?
There could be two indicators. One is the perception of the people who get service from the ministries, the people who these are the first. This could be the indicator in that how they perceive they are the decision making time sort of the service queue or going in different entities. It takes the longer time or duplication of the works, lack of coordinations, delivering service. Overall time is longer or shorter. The people's perception would be the first indicator. And secondly, we can see the result indicators. For example, the capital budget expenses, for example, the total outputs, total results, physical results, is envisaged in the plan, and the periodic evaluations. It would give us the significance of this merger, or where we are going, how the situation is improving or not.
Thank you for your time and insights, sir.
Thank you.
That was thought-provoking talk with former Secretary Keshav Sharma. As expected, the move of the centre rippled down to the provinces, and Lumbini was of the first provinces to heed to the call. Lumbini province government decided to cut the number of ministries and limit its cabinet to 8 ministries as part of an effort to reduce administrative expenses. The decision reflects a broader shift toward leaner governance structures across Nepal's federal system, following recent administrative reforms at the national level. Let's know more from our colleague Rojina Rai and our local correspondent Dasarath Khimiri in this report.
Several provincial governments in Nepal are actively working to reduce the number of ministries in an effort to make administration more cost-effective and efficient. One of the most notable examples is Bagmati province, which has decided to reduce its ministries from 14 to 8. Similar restructuring efforts are being discussed or partially implemented in other provinces, including Lumbini province. The Lumbini provincial government has decided to reduce the number of ministries to 8 starting from the new fiscal year on 17th July. The province currently has 12 ministries, including the Office of the Chief Minister and Council of Ministers. The move aims to support administrative reform by reducing unnecessary expenses, improving efficiency, and making governance more effective and streamlined.
मन्त्रालयहरू कुन कसरी अगाडि बढ्छन् भन्ने बारेमा चाहिँ के भने मन्त्रालयको नामाकरण गर्ने गरी त्यो स्पिडका साथ आज चाहिँ के भने सरकारले यो निर्णय गरेको छ.
The provision to reduce the number of ministries will also be included in the policies and programs for the upcoming fiscal year 2083-84. In addition to restructuring ministries, the government is preparing to complete the adjustment of directorates and offices under various ministries between 29th June and 4 July. Under the new government, ministries with similar responsibilities are expected to be merged. Provincial Chief Minister Chet Narayan Acharya stated the decision was made to ensure faster, more transparent and more efficient public service delivery.
एकातिर खर्च व्ययता हुन्छ भने दोस्रो कुरो भनेको धेरै अब त्यो सुशासनको क्षेत्रमा र जनसेवा प्रवाहको क्षेत्रमा काम गर्नको निम्ति पनि त्यसले सजिलो बनाउँछ.
Lumbini province initially had only 7 ministries. However, during its first term, the number increased to as many as 17. The reduction in ministries is expected to cut administrative costs, speed up decision-making, minimize the duplication of work, improve efficiency, and streamline policy coordination.
The government has officially begun transitioning land administration services directly to local levels, ending the decades-old requirement for the public to visit district land revenue offices. 10 years after the Constitution's promulgation, this shift promises to bring land registration, property division and mortgages right to the doorsteps of the general public. Here's the story.
For decades, land-related paperwork in Nepal has been synonymous with long queues and bureaucratic hurdles at district offices. But that is about to change. The Ministry of Land Management is finally implementing a constitutional mandate to decentralize land revenue and survey services to local governments. It is a transition 10 years in the making. According to the Ministry of Land Management, cooperatives and poverty alleviation services like land ownership transfers, property partitioning and bank mortgages will now be handled by local units. This move activates Annex 9 of the Constitution, effectively bringing Singhadarbar to courtyards for land administration. The response has been overwhelming. So far, 215 local levels across the country have expressed their readiness to take over these responsibilities. While the local units are responsible for providing the physical infrastructure and staff, the central land revenue officers will act as mentors, providing essential technical training and digital system support.
पहिलो चरणमा हामीले 30-35 वटा स्थानीय तहसँग चाहिँ समन्वय गर्दैछौँ। उहाँहरूबाट चाहिँ नि सेवा सञ्चालन भइसकेपछि हामीले सोचेभन्दा फरकको चुनौती आउँछ कि भन्दा हामीले योभन्दा पहिले हाम्रो चाहिँ डाटा डिजिटलाइज गरिसकेका थिएनौँ, जम्मै कागजमा आधारित डाटा थियो। त्यस्ता अभिलेखहरूलाई चाहिँ हामीले सबै पालिकालाई दिन सक्ने अवस्था थिएन। पछिल्लो समय हामीले ती सबै त्यस्ता दस्तावेज भूमि अभिलेखहरूलाई डिजिटल कम्प्युटरमा डिजिटलाइज गरिराखेका छौँ। प्रणाली मार्फतै यो जग्गा प्रशासन सम्बन्धी सेवा सञ्चालन गर्ने गरी व्यवस्था मिलाउनको लागि भनेर अहिलेको हाम्रो तयारी यसरी हामी गरिराखेका छौँ।
Kathmandu Metropolitan City is leading the charge. 10 wards within the metropolis, including Ward 10, have already signed formal agreements to begin operations. For the residents here, the era of spending days at the district office is nearly its end.
कागजपत्र पुगेको र त्यो जुन यो मालपोतमा चाहिँ नि 11 डिजिटल भएको चाहिँ दर्ता भइसकेको छ। त्यो भइसकेको चाहिँ नि यहाँबाट नामसारी पनि हुन्छ, किनबेच पनि हुन्छ, अब मृतक पछिको नामसारीहरू पनि यो सबै हुन्छ। त्यो डिजिटलमा नआइसकेको चाहिँ नि अहिले पूर्ण रूपमा मालपोत कार्यालयले सबै लाल पूजाहरू चाहिँ डिजिटल गरिसकेका छैन। 11 वटा नम्बरको लिङ्क पाइरहेको छ। त्यो लिङ्क हुनेबित्तिकै यहाँबाट सबै चिजै ओडैबाट हुन्छ।
However, challenges remain. Not all local levels currently possess the high-speed digital infrastructure or the specialized manpower required for complex land records. Experts warn that while the rollout has begun, a nationwide implementation will be faced as municipalities build their digital capacity. As more municipalities sign on, the government hopes this shift will not only save time and money for the public but finally realize the true spirit of decentralization.
That's all from the perspective for this week's edition. We'll be back next week with major updates. Stay tuned to NTV World.
This is where art meets thought. Stories we watch and stories that watch us back. Stories that linger not just in the mind, but in that quiet, unspoken space of being human. Welcome to Creative Forum, where art is experienced, not just discussed. I'm Shivani Thapa Bosniak, and from the crossroads of Kathmandu, we're joined in by two extraordinary voices. One from Iran and the other guest from China. Civilizations that have, 4 centuries now, shaped the way humanity tells its stories. From the poetic soul of Persian traditions to the philosophical depth of Chinese thought, these are cultures where storytelling was never merely expression, but reflection, memory, and of course meaning. Professor Sun Zhan, Chinese media scholar exploring global storytelling, and our other guest, Mojtaba Bahadori, an Iranian filmmaker who travels the world finding humanity in the quietest moments of life. Both are in town as jury members of the Nepal International Film Festival 2026. Welcome to Kathmandu to both of you.
Hello to everyone. Hello to Nepal, to Nepalese people, to this wonderful, colorful, amazing culture that I'm very, very happy to be here and very excited actually. I had a chance to go out last days and I was so impressed by everything. People, they are praying in the street, they are moving around, full of the handicraft, full of people, full of movement. It's like a cinema. It's like a total cinema. Very happy to be here.
Nepali people give me, including the smile, the delicious food, and the very lovely students and the friends here.
Just to get started, I'm so curious to know, because both of you travel the world with the great work that you do and the great work that you carry around. Mojtaba, let me turn to you. Why did you pick storytelling?
Storytelling, I think, is a part of our culture as Iranian. So poetry and storytelling is a part of Iranian culture, and we're born with that. I feel like all the Iranians, they're born to be a poet or read poetry and tell a story through their poetry. In the opening of the festival, there was a director of Sholeh. You remember?
Ramesh Sippy, right?
Yes. I was so surprised because I remember I was a child in Shiraz. I born in Shiraz. I grew up in the south of Iran. And it was forbidden to watch foreign films, as it still is a lot of things forbidden in Iran. So people, they would hide video VHS around in a city. And we found a video VHS of the Sholeh. It was one of the first films I watched in my life. I never will forget the scene of the Sardevi.
Hema Malini.
Yeah, the lady, she's dancing on
the Basanti girl, right?
Yeah, in the broken glasses, yeah?
Yes.
It was so impressive how she can do that. Only in cinema you can have those scenes that people, they dance on broken glasses. Yeah, I think the story started by watching films in a very early age. Forbidden films, like anything is not Iranian or is not about Islamic culture, yeah, which actually they structured our character. When I was a teenager, my father bought me a VHS camera, and I started to film things around of myself. I had only one video cassette, so I would film over and over that cassette. You remember, we could put it back or turn it back, and then
the cassette tape.
Yeah,
right,
cassette tape. Yeah, so I will film one thing and then I would watch it several times, and then I didn't have any other film, so I would film it again on top of that. That started by that and theater. I started to write theater piece when I was 13. Always very, very influenced by things around of me, especially in the Persian culture.
Really amusing to know that your childhood or maybe your growing years were so much similar to that of us here in this side of the world, right? Pretty much amusing. How about China, Professor Shun? Why communications? Why did you even choose to come to this field?
I found, because China is a very large country, there are a lot of people living different places. 30 years ago, at that time, not everybody can speak in Mandarin, even at that time. And we have a lot of mineral races there. But now the things has been changing better and better day by day. And after I got my PhD, I became a lecturer, associate professor, and a professor in my university. I am the head of the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication, University of Electronic Science and Technology of China. And I love mass communication because I got a PhD for mass communication, and later I choose my research about social media and online media, because my university focus on high-tech knowledge and the computer science, AI tech knowledge as well. We have a lot of cooperation between different mayors, and I'm so interested in cross-cultural communication. When I came to Nepal 10 years ago, I was addicted by this country, by Nepali people. I love this country very much. So that's the starting point of my research about cross-cultural communication. And I do appreciate everything.
It's so beautiful to see how Professor Jan enjoys Nepal, right? So both of you are here for NEF, and the one common thing that I really am curious about is you both come from civilizations where storytelling is ancient, it's layered, and it's deeply philosophical, right? And I wonder, when you engage with cinema today or filmmaking today, do you feel you are creating something new, or you're continuing something that has always existed in your cultures?
I think originality is not very important in a storytelling. Your story shouldn't be original, it should be truth. It should be deep and should be personal. So I don't want to tell original stories. I don't try for that. I try to say truth, or to say the stories that is close to my heart, you know. So I think in the end we are repeating the same story of the human being, yeah? But just we have different approach because we have different experience, or we experience the life differently.
Yes.
And like talking about love, you know, so many poetry about love, but they're all different because they have different approach to love. You know, they see the love in different things, or they try to explore it differently in each of them. I think the storytelling in a film also is the same. Actually, in a jury, as a jury, we have a section that we have to say how original is the film. And this is one of the sections I like the less because that's not really important to me. But for me, is what is the impact of the film? You know, this is a part of the jury judge that verdict that I give more importance to it. What was the impact of that film on me as an audience, as a person just was watching it, and also about that, you know, the technical part is very important sometimes to make things impactful, like the sounds, the video, the image, but still is less important than the subject and how we approach the subject. What we are telling, what's the story that we want to tell to our audience. So yeah, I think originality is not very important for me. But being true, yes.
Do you see films as an extension of that, you know, a Persian artistic tradition where meaning is, you know, often found when it is left unsaid? I mean, does your work more focus on the silences between the words and the sounds?
This is what we say in music. A note doesn't have a sense if there is no silence between notes. If you put two notes without silence in a continuity, it's like, but if you do it, there's a silence. So the music borns through the silence. I think the story also borns after the silence is established in a story. So we have this culture of the silence in Iranian cinema, like big names that many people they know, and I see also kind of Nepalese young filmmakers. They are quite familiar to the Iranian cinema. We have a lot of silence in Iranian cinema because we need that to reflect about what we hear. You know, we hear a sentence, then we have to listen to that inside of us also. So yeah, like my last film that it got the Everest Award here in NIF last year is full of silence because it's a story of a person who questions if the nature creates so perfectly in its imperfection, me as an artist, what I can create that is better than nature. Why we are creating, actually? So the answer is because we need to make sense for our life. Yeah. So I see the storytelling and artistic practice as a need for making sense to our life and also presenting a sense to other people, a proposal to other people. Okay, we can see the life in this way also.
From what I understand, you were born and raised in Iran,
yes.
And then later you shifted base to France, where much of your career has really, expanded and extended. So how has France changed you as a filmmaker?
I think France didn't change me, but what it changed me is the people that they listen to your story. And these people, maybe you can find them in China, in Nepal, in France. So I think I was lucky to be surrounded by people that they are interested in a story that I want to tell. And of course, I'm still very, very attached to the Iranian storytelling, Still, like in my film On Melting Snow, the main story comes from the poetry of the Rumi. So if we are cut from the origin, what will happen to us? Yeah? We will always go back to the origin, especially when we grow. We say, okay, I have to look back who I am. Yeah? The idea of who I am comes from the poetry of the Persian poetry of the Rumi. But then I shoot it in Iceland, partly in Belgium, and partly in North Africa, because I was looking for a very minimalist landscape. So I went to find those landscapes in different places in the world, from the Atlantic, from the north to the south of the planet. I would say French culture and cinema is very open to new voices, is very generous in listening, and I'm very lucky, I think, to be able to be part of that culture for such a long time. Yeah.
Chinese philosophy also has explored, long explored, like
Yes.
ideals of balance, harmony, and of course, relationship between individuals and the collective, right? So how do these deeper cultural ideas there shape the ways stories are told?
China has long story in this world, and we have a bunch of philosophers of different sides, and it's related to our mind, to our heart, and to the relations between the families or with the others. And it is very important to keep our mind calm and peaceful. So that's why Chinese people always think balance is the most important thing in our life. And you're right, we think independent is related to your freedom as well. So we are so independent in this world, and we treat the others peacefully. That's why if you can understand that, so you can understand Chinese.
Mostaba, when we speak of Iranian cinema or films, right, it's almost impossible not to think of certain stillness, a certain honesty, right, a way of seeing that both feels so simple and at the same time profoundly layered. And in many ways, that language has certainly been shaped by masters like Abbas Kiarostami, whose classes you are so privileged to have attended. And I'm really curious, besides what he taught you about cinema, what has changed in you in a way that you see the world under his guidance?
I remember the first time I had chance to listen to him directly. He just came back from Africa, and where he made ABC Africa. It was just the beginning of the digital camera, and there was a handycam. You remember the handycam with the small films, yeah? So he asked his producer that is it possible to go to Africa to just see the location, to find the location where I can shoot my film. And they said, okay. So he went there with the two other person, and they started to film kids in an abandoned school, like in a school for kids. And the kids, they was interacting with the camera, those very teenagers. He went back, and he decided to make the film just with the rush that he filmed with his handycam. So no need to take a big camera or whatever. He told us something. He said, if you have a story to tell, don't wait for big cameras, for equipment and those kind of things. Just do it. If you have something to tell, just do it. Why you're waiting? What makes you wait so long, you know? And this is what I saw also in the Nepalese film. I watched, I think, over 30 Nepalese film in the section that I was part of it. And I see there is a lot of courageous film that they are telling their story with, you know, the minimum technical equipment, and that makes me so happy, because you can keep it as an idea and wait for the perfect situation, and sometimes never happens. But you can also take a little camera with your friends and just film your grandmother, I don't know, your sister, the people in your village, and tell the story that is important to you. So I'm very happy to see that in a Nepalese film, really. I'm very impressed by that. And also, I think, for me, the first thing I learned from Abbas Kiarostami is like, just do it. Don't wait for the perfect situation, because sometimes never you will have it. Just do it.
Thoughts of a true creator, I believe.
Yeah.
Right? And even in your work, we can see a lot of simplicity of the similar kind, inspired maybe by Abbas Kiarostami. So is minimalism for you, or Saba, an aesthetic choice, or is it a philosophical one?
I think if you want to emphasize one subject, you need to decide what you don't want to talk about it, right? It's like in a conversation, yeah? If I want to talk about the human condition in a certain place, why I have to talk about the things that is not connected to the human condition? So I think in the end, for being more precise, you need to be minimalist. You need to choose in the end. And, you know, I think in the end, for having clear mind also, you need to, what we do in a meditation, right? We try to just concentrate on our respiration, concentrate on the minimum that calls existence, right? I think the film for me also is the same. If I want to talk about the subject, I would like to make it just that, you know, put it there like a good chef cuisine, yeah? You put the little things there, then when you eat it, you feel it, you know. This is the idea.
Wow. I can listen to you like the entire day. It's interesting, right? This idea of saying more, you know, with less, you know, of trusting the audience, right?
Yes.
The minimalist approach in filmmaking, it's the purity with which that is portrayed is so beautiful to any aspirant or people who love real film and drama. Professor Zan, from your perspective as a media scholar, in today's very fast and very content-driven world, is there still space for this kind of quiet and very contemplative film?
Yes, and I think the house is quiet is a kind of power, because it's from our mind. I do agree. Mashtaba says the truth is the most important thing in this world, even including the films, the fiction films, both fiction films and documentary films. And this year, I bring Xizang Panorama to Nepal again, and this is a second Xizang Panorama. And last year, I'm a jury and organizer, and this year I am a director as well. And because we listened to our audiences here last year, I found I should present a new Xizang to our audiences, tell the world what's the truth in Xizang, how developed it is now. Because Xizang is a modern society, it has a high-speed train, bullet trains there. It has a lot of high-speed road, highways there, and the environment is still very good. We protect our environment very well in Xizang. We protected the lakes, the mountains, and the animals there. There is a story about Slow Leopard. It will screen this afternoon. That's about how we deal with the relationship between the protected environment and the people's financial right. Because a Slow Leopard will go to the local people's house, around the house. The Slow Leopard ate the sheep. How can we deal with that? Because according to our policy, we have the compensation. The people can get the money back from the government, but still the local people felt angry about the sheep's death, something like that. And from Nepal to China, we have the similar situation about the environment protection. And we also invited 9 young persons from 6 countries, from United States, Russia, Morocco, Italy, Cambodia, and Nepal. The 9 people visited Xizang this January, so we shoot a short documentary film about their visiting. They went to they experienced the new electronic cars, electronic vans. They have the test driving on the highway, and they also took the bullet train, and they went to the electricity power station and see all the development there. And they also experienced the bubble tea with other young generation, because in past times, Xizang people enjoy the butter tea with salt, but it's salty. But nowadays, more people like sweet butter tea, and some people also enjoy the sweet bubble tea. That's very interesting, because the people there are having a new and modern life right now, and the culture and the philosophy is not stopped by the history, and every day is new, and I think the tradition is also on the way day by day.
So you mean to say that despite all the high-speed content
Yes.
trend that is ongoing, still the real-life experience is real and it's more important?
Yes.
Right? And why did you, besides promotion, Professor San, why did you choose to come back with the Xizang panorama to Nepal, to Nepal?
Yeah, Xizang panorama is very important because we releasing 6 films every year about Xizang, and Xizang is a border part between Nepal and China, and between the Himalaya regions and Himalaya mountains. We are really like the families and brothers. We are relatives and neighbors. That's very important for us to know each other. And there are some traditional and cultural aspects are the same between our Xizang culture and the Nepali culture. So we want to, approach the communication between the people in 2 countries.
Mustafa, the same question to you. How is the current trend of media, especially on the consumption side, where they're so fascinated into high speed and scandalized contents, affected you as a filmmaker, or has it even affected you?
Yeah, what Professor says is very, very right. The culture is not an object that doesn't move. It's something that constantly changes and is a part of this, heritage. The heritage is made every day. And what I see also, go back to the Nepalese film, I see like there is this really nationalism and this strong interest and respect for Nepalese culture via like Nepalese filmmaker, but in the same time, in a lot of films they try to change things, like the habits that exist in the families, the old culture that is not good for, So I think they are making culture by respecting their own culture. This is a constant change. The culture is born every single day. Yeah. Yes. So I think also the speed. This fast culture is a part of the culture, yeah? The things going fast. But back to minimalism, you have to choose what do you want. Yeah? So do you want to be constantly exposed by this fast world, or you decide to go with your own speed in the road that you choose to be in it, right? I'm like, it's very easy to be lost, you know, to lose yourself, your mind in this fast world. I think it's necessary to have different type of cinema. I don't think one cinema is cinema and the rest is not cinema. Everything is cinema, you know, every different style of the cinema. But some people, they like this one and some the other one, and it's fine, totally fine. Yeah, I think, you know, that this very slow cinema is like a reading roman in old time, like a War and Peace of Tolstoy. It's like I tried to read it like maybe 20 times in my life. Always I went until the half, I didn't finish it, you know. So it's the time that, you know, there was in North Russia, it was cold and there was no internet, you couldn't go out. There was snow until here behind of your door. You could read books like this, but today it's more difficult to read books like 5 Ouverture. So I think by your situation, you have to choose your speed also, you know. And it shouldn't be one thing and tomorrow not, you know. You can change. It's fine to change. It's very good to change. We have to be open to change. But my own cinema is a cinema that is impactful and is making me to think and brings me new question. You know, I watched this film yesterday in opening, the Iranian film. It's a wonderful film. Yes. It's about a man who wants to find a laptop for his daughter to be able to finalize her animation film, you know? 2 different words, but it's about a computer, about creating alone in your own room. So this is an impactful film. I love it. And it's quite, maybe a bit fast for me, but still, I love it. It's impactful.
So let's continue talking about NIF, which brings you all to Kathmandu, right? So this place for many, as we have perceived from the feedbacks that we've been receiving from a long time, people in many ways find so many stories unfolding here, right? So, but you are both creative people in communications and filmmaking. So as you arrived here, not as tourists, but as storytellers, what was that thing that you took note of that perhaps others might have overlooked?
In the films?
No, in Kathmandu.
Right? I didn't still have so much chance to, you know, to discover the city. But, you know, it's a very kind and very attentive culture. It's a culture to make you comfortable and welcome you. I felt it since the first day I arrived here. And also, everyone does what they can to find a solution if there is a problem. So I love that. And I really, yesterday for opening, we was crossing this shopping mall. And I was seeing there is, you know, while I was going up, there was some people, they were selling sunglasses, but they were watching in their YouTube a video of dance, and I was like, so amazing. Now I'm going for opening of the festival of the country, and I see the real life while I'm in the stairs. So it's a very true festival, true people, and the way they do it is very true, and I love that.
And how about the festival?
Festivals, films, you know, so far what I watched, I'm impressed. I think, you know, last year when my film got the awards, and I couldn't be here, still I didn't have a clear idea about Nepali cinema. But I was very happy to have an award called Everest Award. That was the name of the award that I received last year. And I was like, I definitely have to, you know, find the opportunity to go there. And when they invited me as a jury, I was, you know, I didn't hesitate even for a second. And the film, the Nepalese film, in particular, young Nepalese young filmmakers, they have so much things to say, and they have so much things to change respectfully toward their own culture. And we see that through the film. I'm very happy. I'm very happy to see the films. It's very impactful.
Professor Jean, for you, Nepal, Kathmandu is like second home, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, like, does Kathmandu feel familiar to you, or does it surprise you every time you come back?
Yeah, actually, every time Kathmandu surprised me a lot, and in recent years, I came back again and again, and I saw the changes by my own eyes. And every time I came back, I found the streets cleaner and cleaner. And I think the Nepali economy is raising up year by year. That's the happiest thing to me. And the Nepali friends are so kind and friendly, especially the common person on the street. Most of them are very friendly to you. Some kids will say hello to you, and some including the girls and boys. And every time I was touched by some flowers and plants, and then because every time I came here in different seasons, I saw different flowers. Sometimes I was touched by the flowers blossom in the corner or on the street or just on the window. I think that's happiness about Nepali's common person's life, daily life, and I also very grateful for the changes of the cafeteria. And here we can experience different kind of foods, including Korean cuisine, Japanese cuisine, Italian cuisine, yes, Chinese, some snacks here, and Chinese noodles are popular here, and the prices are not expensive. The local young people tell me they love Chinese cuisine, especially from my hometown. I was born in Chongqing, a mountain city in China.
That's an amazing city that we see, right, on all those videos.
Yes, I showed you before, and it is called AD Digital City. It's amazing, and one day I hope you to visit there. And I think, according to my opinion, Nepal will getting better, will be better and better in the future. Yeah, and the young generation, their how to say, their appearance is really active. Yeah, I like it.
Right, thank you. So before we wrap this up, there is one section where I get to ask you quick questions, and I request, you to give me very quick answers, maybe a word or just something that comes, to your mind right away.
Silence is accepted.
Sorry. I wish not. All right, so the first one is one film that made you feel deeply human, Moshtaba.
A Man Without Past of the Aki Kaurismäki.
Is this an Iranian film?
No, it's a Finnish film.
Finnish film.
From Finland, yeah.
Wow. How about you, Professor Jun?
A Snow Leopard.
The Snow Leopard. Okay, wow. Silence in cinema or music?
Silence.
Silence.
Silence. A story you will carry with you from Kathmandu?
Being grateful.
People.
Grace. Yeah.
Wow.
Love story.
Wow. Okay. One word for Kathmandu.
The smell of oud is not one word, but the smell of this, what they turn on in a praying, the oud.
The incense. The incense.
Yeah, the smell of incense. Yeah.
Joyful.
Joyful. All right. Story first or image first?
A story.
Story.
How do you see cinema today? Overwhelming or evolving?
Evolving.
One thing young filmmakers should hold on to?
Keep doing it. Yeah.
Don't stop.
Don't stop, yeah.
AI technology.
Wow. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for your valuable time, for taking the time to come over to NTV World Studios and being there at NIF. And yes, do continue your great job and keep inspiring us all the way.
Thank you very much for hosting us.
Yeah, thank you. It's our great honor. Yeah, thank you.
In the quiet between the poetic silence and the academic vision that I talked about, the two valuable voices that we had with us here in our studios, we really found a shared heartbeat, even among themselves. For the shadows of Tehran to the lights of Kathmandu, we are certainly reminded that while the world may break, the story remains whole. Thank you for being part of this Creative Forum episode, and until next time, this is Shivani Thapa Busnet signing off. Goodbye.
Shall we start now?
I'll try my best.
Okay. Your best performance, okay?
The most important innings for me would be the Nepal versus Hong Kong game. And I scored 41 runs because that match, it was one step into the World Cup. And for me, I remember going into that game, I thought I'll not hit the ball in the air at all because if I stayed in the crease and scored runs, meant that Nepal had better chances of winning. And those 41 runs in that game would probably be the most valuable innings that I've ever played, where I got run out. But that every run, if I think of it now, would probably be the time when I took the most pressure during my whole 20 years of career. But those would be the most important runs of my career.
Best Nepali batsman of all time?
It's difficult. Why? Because I have seen a lot of great players, and you look at the current batch of cricketers, meant that everyone's been performing exceptionally well. If I really had to pick one name, just from a talent perspective, who did not play as much for Nepal but was extremely talented, was Sandeep Shrestha. He played few matches for Nepal, but just looking at him, he was so casual at how he played the sport.
I can't agree with you anymore. Best coach you have played under?
If I really had to pick one person, would be Pubdu, because that transformation of Nepal cricket from 11 to 16 while he was here, and we qualifying for the World Cup was an important moment.
Most difficult opponent you have played against?
Obviously, Afghanistan and Nepal always, gets compared. I remember playing Afghanistan's first match in 2005, and then they wanted to become a test playing nation in 2016.
Best bowler you have faced, or the most difficult bowler you have ever faced?
I think Basant Rigmi easily is the best bowler that I played. I keep saying Sandeep played the IPL. He's gone on to play all leagues all over the world. He's been phenomenal. But Basant Rigmi, if let's say had got the platform back in the day from a fast bowler who turned into a left arm spinner, probably the best bowler that I have faced. And at one point he was probably the best left arm spinner and somebody who nobody could hit.
Best upcoming talent?
I think Gulshan Jha, the potential that he has as an all-rounder, and he's left-handed. Obviously, there's a lot more things that he needs to add up into his game, but he has potential to really grow into something.
Best Nepali bowler?
Would be Binod Das. I think he was probably the best fast bowler that I played. I mean, Sompal and Karan have carried the nation's burden for the last 10 years, but Binod Das was probably the best fast bowler.
He was the leading fast bowler in the associate countries at his peak as well. 2014 T20 World Cup qualification or 2018 ODI status?
It has to be the World Cup, and I really can't pick between the two. Why? Because the ODI status is important for the overall setup of how a cricket nation functions at the associate world, but qualifying for the World Cup and playing the World Cup meant that cricket became important to this nation. So I would definitely pick the World Cup.
Best ever performance under your captaincy, Nepal's?
3 matches we played at the World Cup.
14 World Cup.
Because at the global stage, we never played under floodlights. We went into Dubai a week ago. And also when you are young, I think we were a young team. We had no fears. We were a strong unit, backed by good coaching. Whatever that we had, we were happy about it. And
that moment where we were presented in front of the world, we did not crumble. Playing against Hong Kong, playing against Afghanistan, and like competing against Bangladesh, meant that that is when we made our first significant impact. So those 3 matches would probably be the best performance. But if you go through the Division 5, 4, 3-2 cycle, more. I mean, every tournament has its own story, and this has been an incredible journey.
Best batsman in world cricket you admire?
Has to be Brian Charles Lara. Got to see him in Nepal as well, so he was a genius.
He was a genius. Best all-rounder in world cricket?
Jack Callis, easily.
All right.
When you look at his batting stats, his bowling stats, there's no comparison to what he has achieved.
Exactly. Best bowler in world cricket all time?
Shane Warne. I'll probably say he's the greatest cricketer that played the sport.
True. You are a big Aussie fan as well?
I follow the Australian cricket team.
Best captain in world cricket all time?
If I really have to go back old school, it would have to be Stephen Fleming. Fleming was a great leader, left-handed batter, and is still coaching the Chennai Super. A great cricket mind, and even Ricky Ponting. If you think of the fact that he had to lead this team of gladiators and had to captain them, Steve Waugh led by examples day and day. But if I had to pick one person, if it's a name, Stephen Fleming. Although he didn't win championships, but had a lot of respect with everybody around and still does.
Paras, let's sit down now. Let's create Nepal's all-time 11, all formats.
It's going to be difficult.
It's going to be difficult. Let's try.
Sandeep Shrestha is opening. Then you'd probably pick maybe Kushal
Bhurtel. Paris opening. Fantastic.
2. Then number 3 would be Gyanendra Malla.
Superb.
Number 4.
Let's try.
Number 4 would be Dipender Singh Aidi.
Dipender Singh Aidi, of course.
At number 4. Okay. Sarat Bisagar at 5.
5.
Raju Kharka at 6.
6.
Then Sakti Gauchan at 7.
7.
Basant Ragmi at 8.
8.
Sandeep Lamichhane at 9. Binod Das.
Okay.
And it'll be difficult between Sompal and Karan.
All right.
Because both of them, so depending on the format, because both have been great match winners, which means that if it's ODI, I would pick Sompal.
Being diplomatic here.
If it's ODI, I mean, if it's T20, I would pick Karan. So that's the playing 11. Sandeep
Shrestha, number 1.
Kushal Bhurtel, Gyanendra Malla at 3. Dipender Singh Aidi at 4. Sarat Bisagar at 5. Raju Kharka at 6. Sakti Gauchan at 7. Basant Ragmi at 8. Sandeep Lamichhane at 9. Binod Das at 10. And 11 would be
either Sompal or Karan. Yeah. Fantastic. Okay. All-rounders, please rank. Raju Kharka?
1. Dipender Singh Aidi 2.
All right.
Sakti Gauchan 3.
All right.
Gulshan Jha 4.
All right.
Mehboob Alam at 5. So.
Mehboob Alam at 5.
Nepal has numerous places and monuments of historical, archaeological, religious, cultural and natural significance. Among them, one is Bodhanath Stupa that lies in the northeast of Kathmandu. This world-famous stupa is the property of ancient arts and culture. It is also the property of Buddhist civilization. This region, spread in about 7,630 square meter area, is about 7 kilometers far from Kathmandu Darbar Square. It is about 100 feet in radius and has a height of about 141.8 feet. Its date of construction is not yet exactly ascertained. However, some theories based on some myths, chronology, and some written scriptures of Guru Padmasambhava are popular. The stupa, which is the largest stupa in the world, is believed to be constructed with the remains of Kashyapa Buddha in it. This stupa, also considered as the symbol of Trikal Buddha's heart, harbors thousands of devotees and visitors every day. Furthermore, with the enlistment of the stupa in the UNESCO's World Heritage List, its fame has skyrocketed. Despite the fact that majority of residents around the stupa are from Tamang community, there are also people from other communities like Newar, Sherpa, Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Tibetans, and so on. This very feature symbolizes unity and diversity. The history of Bodhanath Stupa. The history of its construction is still mysterious. However, different myths, chronicles regarding its establishment are popular. As per the scripture of Guru Padmasambhava, Bodhanath is called Jarung Khashor in Tibetan language. According to a myth, an angel named Purnima Gangchungma was born in earth as a punishment for stealing flour in heaven. She was born in a place in Nepal as Jajima, a daughter of poultry farmer. Later, when she grew up, she got married to a horse trader. After the birth of a son, the horse trader died. She then got married to a pig trader. After the birth of a son, the pig trader too died. Then after, she married a dog trader. He too died after the birth of a son. Finally, she got married to a poultry farmer. He too died after the birth of a son. The mother of 4 sons then got involved in poultry farm and amassed a bigger fortune. After her sons got married, she still had a bigger chunk of wealth and she decided to devote herself in religious rites. Then a thought of establishing a stupa was emerged in her mind. She then pleaded the king to allot some land to make the stupa. The king responded to her demand positively. However, a widow willing to perform a larger kind of pious work was intolerable to the wealthy people of that community. They then went to the king pleading him to stop the project. Since the king had already promised her, he denied going as per their request. Due to this reason, the word Kashwar was added to the name, which means slipped promise. And finally, it became Jarung Kashwar. In Tibetan language, Ja means a year of the bird. The construction was said to be initiated and ended in the same year of bird after 12 years. So it is believed to be called Jarung Kashwar. Jajima died 4 years after the start of the project. Then her 4 sons continued the project. Due to their pious work, those 4 sons are reincarnated as Holy King Trisong Duchen, great Buddhist preacher Shanta Rakshit, Guru Padmasambhava, and religious minister Bami Thiser in Tibet, and had worked for the establishment of Buddhism according to a myth. According to a belief, Bodhanath Stupa was constructed in around 5th century. It is said that the stupa was discovered in the era of Lichavi king Shivadev. Some Buddhists believe that, like Swayambhunath, Bodhanath was also self-created. According to a chronicle written by Daniel Wright, the stupa was constructed by King Manadeva I, which was started in 464 AD and completed in 505 AD. It was later destroyed by Mughal king and later reconstructed. It is coated with thousands of grams of gold. Water is filled in the stupa's pond in every 12 years, and in every 12 years there is a carnival to observe the Bodhanath pond. During the carnival, thousands of Buddhist devotees, either local or foreign, visit the spot to see the pond and take the water out from the pond. It is believed that whosoever sees the pond and drink water from it will have his or her illness remedied, and healthy people will gain immunity to fight against the diseases. A Chinese lama is appointed by the Guti Sansthan that belongs to the government of Nepal, whereas the Ministry of Culture and Tourism has established Bodhanath Area Development Committee that looks after Bodhanath and performs all the necessary renovations of the stupa. This stupa is based on the practice of Mahayana Buddhism. It is also taken as the symbol of Chintamani. As per the Buddhist model of construction, bricks, mud, stones, wood, copper and gold were used to construct the stupa. It has 5 layers of construction, which are considered as the 5 elements of nature that are needed for the creation. The upper portion of the stupa from the ground level is considered as the earth. The core above it is considered water. 13 Bhuvan symbolizes fire. Chatravali symbolizes air, and the topmost dome indicates the sky. There's a ring road that encircles the stupa. Buddhists encircle the shrine chanting Om Mani Padme Hum. It is believed that chanting the mantra will free oneself from all miseries and will finally achieve salvations from the heaven, hell, earth, and other places. There are 6 such places in total according to Buddhism. Different statues of Bodhisattva are placed in different parts of the stupa. Mantras are written in each statue. There are 108 different parts in the stupa, and a statue of different gods and goddesses rests in each part. There are 108 total statues placed on those parts. Its dome is considered as the symbol of the universe. The 2 eyes in each direction is called Harmika. Harmika indicates the 4 noble truths and 8 rightfold paths. These peaceful and thoughtful eyes also symbolize knowledge and measures to rid from evil. It is believed that the gaze of the eyes will rid oneself from sex, anger, greed, attachment, jealousy, gluttony, and pain, and will take the mind to bliss, non-violence, and positivity. The question mark-like symbol below the eyes symbolizes nirvana, and the dot symbolizes wisdom. There are 13 more stories above the Harmika. These 13 stories indicate the 13 places after life that Bodhisattva crosses. After the 13th story lies a gold-plated copper lotus. The flower symbolizes softness, purity, kindness. Then after lies Chatravali's, which is considered as a protector of the stupa. The top part of the stupa is considered as the symbol of Sumeru mountain, which indicates greatness. It is believed that after reaching the peak, one is supposed to attain nirvana, shunyata. Buddhist devotees pray to the shrine, seeking welfare not just for themselves but for the entire living creatures. Nepal signed the World Heritage Conservation Treaty to renovate of different cultural and religious heritages with the aid of UNESCO in 1978. By 1979, 7 places inside the Kathmandu Valley were listed in the World Heritage List. One of those 7 heritages is Bodhanath. Different festivals and jatras are celebrated in Bodhanath every year. Among them, one is Mamla Jatra. It is also called Azim Jatra. There is no authentic documentation regarding the origin of this jatra, yet oral tradition says it had begun in the 8th century after Guru Rinpoche Azim was established as the protector of this area.
यो जात्रा चाहिँ विशेष गरेर ममको स्मरणमा ममको सम्झनामा मनाउने गरिन्छ।
Likewise, a day before Chaitra Purnima, Temal Jatra is observed. This Jatra is celebrated especially by Tamang community. During this Jatra, Tamangs from Kathmandu and neighboring districts visit the place and ignite lights in the loving memory of their deceased relatives. There's a tradition of giving alms and donations after the completion of puja. They also sing Tamang Selo and dance with the song. Vaisakh Purnima celebrates Buddha Jayanti. This is the day on which Lord Buddha was born, got enlightenment, and received Mahaparinirvana. There is a special puja on this day for the same reason. In the like manner, people perform plantation of paddy as the festival during the month of July-August. This jatra is a part and parcel of Buddhist identity. People light lights in the memory of their deceased relatives on this jatra as well. On Mangsir and Paush, October, November and December, January, people celebrate the Dasami Cheju Puja related to Guru Rinpoche. Losar, which is New Year, is also celebrated in a grand way. Special carnival is observed here during Sonam Losar. Similarly, after death of a Buddhist in the area, the deceased body is taken around the mortal remains is taken around the shrine and then cremated. It is believed that taking the body around the shrine will free the deceased person from all the worldly and afterlife sufferings. These festivals and celebrations are no doubt a continuation of Buddhist culture, but are equally useful in preserving the Buddhist culture as well as for the promotion of tourism. This World Heritage Site has religious, historical and cultural significance. It is our responsibility to promote this holy place as a beautiful tourist destination for the visitors from all over the world and work for the preservation of it as well.
The commander of Hamas's military wing, Mohammed Odey, has reportedly been killed in an Israeli airstrike in central Gaza City, just days after the killing of his predecessor in a similar operation. Local sources say at least 3 people were killed and dozens injured when the strike hit a residential building in a busy market area ahead of Eid al-Adha. The Israeli military and Shin Bet security service said the target had been under surveillance for months and was being used as a hideout by senior Hamas figures. Despite a ceasefire agreement announced in October, violence in Gaza continues, with near-daily strikes and rising civilian casualties reported on both sides. Israel has intensified its military operations in Lebanon, carrying out a wave of air and artillery strikes across southern and eastern regions in what officials describe as expanded action against Hezbollah positions. Lebanon's health ministry says at least 31 people were killed, including children, as residential areas were hit during the latest escalation. The Israeli military says it struck more than 100 Hezbollah-linked sites, including infrastructure and fighters. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has ordered what he called a further intensification of operations, saying Israel is deepening its campaign and reinforcing a security buffer along the border. The strikes come despite a fragile ceasefire agreement. With both sides continuing border attacks, Hezbollah has launched rockets and drones into northern Israel, while Israeli forces have maintained near-daily strikes in southern Lebanon. Tensions also flared after a projectile was fired into northern Israel early Wednesday, though it landed in an open area with no reported casualties. The renewed escalation has raised fresh concerns that the conflict would widen further as diplomatic efforts struggle to hold the fragile truce in place. India and Canada are moving to strengthen economic and people-to-people relations, with discussions covering trade, investment, technology cooperation, and financial sector partnerships during a high-level visit by Indian Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal to Canada. In Toronto, the minister engaged with members of the Indian diaspora, describing them as a key bridge in advancing bilateral relations and highlighting India's ongoing economic reforms and growth outlook. He also attended the Canada-India Investment Roundtable with Canadian Trade Minister Maninder Sidhu, where discussions focused on opportunities in infrastructure, clean energy, artificial intelligence, digital infrastructure, and manufacturing. Goyal additionally met senior executives from leading Canadian financial and investment institutions to explore cooperations in areas including critical minerals, banking, fintech, healthcare, and sustainable agriculture. Both sides reaffirmed their commitment to expanding economic cooperation and advancing negotiations towards a broader trade and investment framework aimed at long-term shared growth.
The political reset will build upon the economic reset. And when both go together, it's a win-win situation that is presented to all of us. The scale at which we can grow together is unparalleled. The Prime Ministers have already set a very ambitious target to grow our bilateral trade from $17 billion to about $50 billion by 2030. It will be no mean achievement, but it is eminently doable. And I invite all of you to be partners in this journey. I invite all of you to take this relationship to greater heights.
China has launched a new cross-border rail logistics route to Vietnam aimed at improving transport efficiency and strengthening bilateral trade connectivity. According to railway authorities in China's Guangxi Zhuang Autonomous Region, the first container train carrying around 170 tons of calcium hydroxide departed from Yugang Station, transiting through Nanning International Railway Port before heading to Yen Vinh Station in Vietnam. Officials say the intermodal rail system allows greater flexibility in cargo movement, offers multiple routing options, and is designed to meet rising demand from businesses on both sides. The development is seen as another step in expanding practical economic cooperation between China and Vietnam. NVIDIA says it will increase its investment in Taiwan to around $150 billion a year, according to CEO Jensen Huang speaking at an event in Taipei. The U.S. chip giant chief described Taiwan as the epicenter of the AI revolution, saying the island is booming and will remain central to global artificial intelligence development. Huang said NVIDIA's spending, up from around $100 billion, will help build a stronger technology ecosystem and expand its engineering base in the region. Taiwan is already a global hub for semiconductor manufacturing, with companies like TSMC and Foxconn playing key roles in NVIDIA's supply chain for advanced AI chips and data center systems. Officials in the Democratic Republic of Congo are calling for a humanitarian corridor following a new Ebola outbreak that has prompted an international health alert from the World Health Organization. The outbreak, declared on May 15, is linked to Bundibugyo strain of the Ebola virus, for which there is currently no approved vaccine or specific treatment. Health authorities warn the disease carries a fatality rate of up to 50%, raising concerns over containment efforts and access to medical support in affected regions. Government ministers say humanitarian access is urgently needed to deliver aid, strengthen surveillance, and help prevent further spread of the virus. Thailand has introduced mandatory 21-day quarantine for all travelers arriving from Democratic Republic of Congo and Uganda, even if they show no symptoms of Ebola. The decision follows a government review amid worsening outbreaks in both countries, with health authorities citing rising travel volumes and difficulties in monitoring arrivals effectively. Officials say the measure is stricter than World Health Organization recommendations, but necessary to reduce the risk of the virus entering Thailand. Quarantine will be carried out at designated medical facilities, with authorities monitoring travelers daily for symptoms, while suspected cases will be transferred to specialized hospitals for treatment and isolation. Health officials say enhanced screening and tracking systems are being strengthened at entry points, including Bangkok and Phuket airports, as part of wider public health precautions. The 3 astronauts of China's Shenzhou 23 mission are making final preparations ahead of their scheduled launch from the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center in northwest China, as part of the country's ongoing space station program. Commander Zhu Yangzhu, alongside Zhang Zhuan and Lai Ka-ying, will travel to the Tiangong space station, bringing personal belongings that include family photos, handwritten letters, and symbolic cultural items to stay emotionally connected with home. The crew says the items, carefully selected due to strict weight limits, are intended to provide psychological comfort during their extended stay in orbit. In addition to personal effects, the astronauts will also carry fresh supplies for the Shenzhou 21 crew already aboard the station. The mission marks another step in China's expanding human space flight program, with liftoff scheduled for Sunday evening Beijing time. Western Europe is experiencing an intense record-breaking heat wave, with parts of France and the United Kingdom recording their highest ever May temperatures as a strong heat dome pushes hot air north from Africa. In the northern French coastal city of Saint-Malo, residents say they were caught off guard by the sudden rise in temperatures, with many turning to the sea, fans and shaded public spaces to cope with the heat. Across the region, people have flocked to beaches, fountains and parks, while some households are even considering air conditioning for the first time due to unusually warm nights. Meteorologists say the heat wave could persist through the week, with temperatures in parts of France expected to climb close to 39 degrees Celsius, while officials urge caution despite no declared emergency situation. The Embassy of India in Israel has organized a special pre-international day of yoga event at Bar-Ilan University, bringing together students, faculty members and members of the academic community. The event, part of a series of outreach programs ahead of the global observance, saw enthusiastic participation in guided yoga sessions aimed at promoting physical fitness, mental balance and overall well-being. Organizers highlighted the growing international interest in yoga as a holistic practice that supports mindfulness, stress management, and self-discipline, while also strengthening cultural understanding between nations. Participants also engaged in discussions on how yoga can be integrated into daily life to improve health outcomes and enhance concentration in academic and professional settings. U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has gone viral after posting a video on social media platform X showing him handling 2 snakes with his bare hands in Florida. The video shows Kennedy wearing casual clothing as he approaches the snakes on a patio, crouching down and grabs them without any protective gear, before lifting them up and smiling at the camera. The clip quickly spread online, drawing widespread attention and debate over the unusual encounter, though no injuries were reported. The city of Namangan in Fergana Valley has come alive with color of Uzbekistan's International Flower Festival officially opened, transforming the region into a vibrant floral showcase. Organizers say around 150 million flowers have been planted for the 65th edition of the event, which brings together nearly 500 local and international florists and designers. A parade of nearly 300 flower-decorated vehicles marked the opening ceremony, drawing large crowds through the city center. Festival organizers also announced a Guinness World Records recognition after planting 1.5 million flowers within a single month. The event will run until July 12, featuring exhibitions, cultural performances, concerts, and traditional dance showcases, alongside flower sales and competition.
Votekosi and Trisuli river rafting. Rafting has lately been gaining popularity among tourists. The adventure sport, which previously was popular only among foreigners, is now drawing the local tourists as well. Trisuli and Votekosi rivers that are close to Kathmandu are 2 popular destinations for rafting in Bagmati province. Let us first explore Votekosi. Whitewater rafting at Votekosi river is included among the 10 best adventure destinations for rafting in the world. Votekosi, which is well facilitated with food and accommodation, can be a great destination for rafting and other adventure sports. Rafting at Trisuli river is popular among domestic tourists, as the location can be reached in an hour from Kathmandu. This is where most tourists go for rafting in Nepal. Rafting packages of Votekosi and Trisuli are appropriate for those who want to spend some good time for a few days.
Lumbini province
is home to many well-known tourism destinations in the country. The province has not only contributed to domestic tourism, but also played an important role in promoting Nepal as a tourism destination at the international forums.
Lumbini province
is the birthplace of the light of Asia, Lord Gautama Buddha. Rich in religious, cultural and natural heritages,
Lumbini province
is also a paradise for wildlife. Lumbini is the birthplace of Lord Gautama Buddha. Lumbini area is a major tourist destination of Nepal with numerous attractions for tourists. Lumbini, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, holds special significance for every Buddhist around the world for its historic and religious importance. Place attracts tourists from predominantly Buddhist countries including Thailand, Sri Lanka, India, Japan, Bhutan, Myanmar, South Korea, among others. Swargadwari. The Swargadwari, literally meaning gateway to heaven, temple in Bhutan is a famous religious tourism site in Nepal. Swargadwari is a piece of heaven on earth geographically. Situated 2,200 meters above the sea level, this is the revered Swargadwari temple on top of a hill surrounded by jungle. According to myth, this place got its name Swargadwari because the 5 Panda brothers used this place as the gateway to travel all the way to heaven. The panoramic view from the Swargadwari temple, comprising 3 mountains above 8,000 meters in height and dozens of other peaks, is a treat to the eyes. Hundreds of thousands of religious tourists reach Swargadwari temple every year from Nepal as well as India. It has become much easier now to reach the holy site, encouraging many domestic tourists as well. Swargadwari of Bhutan is an epitome of faith for Hindus, the gateway to heaven, a holy site and a pious land. One can reach Swargadwari by air or roadway travel to Nepalganj from Kathmandu, bus ride to Vrigi, and 5 hours walk to the temple. Bardia National Park. The Bardia National Park is the largest conservation area in Nepal's Tarai. Bardia National Park is home to Bengal tiger, one-horned rhinos, endangered Krishnasar or the black buck, and crocodiles. Bardia National Park is the second largest tiger sanctuary in Nepal. The longest concrete bridge of 1,015 meters in Nepal over Karnali River at Gerua Ghat, Babai Valley, Karnali River, Krishnasar or Black Buck Conservation Area at Khairapur. Tharu culture and homestays are some of the attractions in Bardia. The national park offers elephant ride, jungle safari, jungle walk, rafting among others for tourists. Bardia is a natural paradise and a must-visit place in Western Nepal for domestic and foreign tourists. The number of tourists visiting Bardia National Park is steadily on the rise in recent years. The best season for visiting the national park is September till April every year. Banke and Bardia National Parks, two different national parks spreading across Banke and Bardia districts in western Nepal, home of many endangered wild animals and a hub for domestic and foreign tourists. The attractions: one-horned rhinos, gharial crocodiles, dolphin, among other wildlife. Rani Mahal. The Rani Mahal, or the Queen's Palace in Palpa district, is renowned as the Taj Mahal of Nepal. Rani Mahal, or the Queen's Palace in Palpa district, is renowned as the Taj Mahal of Nepal. This palace at the banks of Kaligandaki River and on top of a huge rock stands on the northern side of the river as a symbol of love. General Khadga Shamsher built the palace with Western architecture in memory of his wife Queen Tej Kumari. The beautiful 56 feet tall 4-story palace houses a pond, garden and temple inside its premises. The palace, surrounded by jungle on the banks of whistling Kaligandaki, is located at the border of Palpa, Gulmi and Sangja districts. The very location and the beauty of the palace is mesmerizing. Palpa has seen sudden rise in number of tourists of late, mainly to visit this palace.
Lumbini province
has many tourism destinations. Over 3 million domestic and 200,000 foreign tourists visit this province every year. Among the foreign tourists in Province 5, majority are from India. Along with exploring new destinations, the existing sites are also being conserved and preserved in this province. Some of the other sites of touristic importance in this province are Ruru area, Supa Deurari, Jaljala area, Dang Valley, Sapuri. All the districts in the province have at least a revered Hindu temple and draw religious tourists. The demographic mix of Tharu, Magar, Awadhi, Muslim and Khas Arya tradition offers their own cultural peasantry for tourists. Nepalganj, which is the gateway to Mansarovar in China for Indian tourists, makes the province rich in terms of tourism.
Lumbini province
is a major tourism destination in the country with immense potential. The internationally renowned religious and tourism sites are the base for prosperity for
Lumbini province.
Annapurna Circuit Trek features in world's 10 best destinations and adventures. The trekking circuit is the choice of many trekkers as it offers both adventure along with mesmerizing view of mountain ranges. Arguably the best trekking circuit in the world, travelers get up close with dozens of mountains including the Annapurna, Dhaulagiri, Nilgiri. Annapurna Circuit ideally is a 14-day trek. The circuit passes through Lamjung, Manang, Mustang and Myagdi district, including Thorangla Pass as the highest point. Places including Thampus, Ghandruk and Poon Hill are part of this trekking circuit. The revered Muktinath shrine is also part of the circuit. Only foreigners were seen in this circuit few years back, but now domestic tourists are also flocking the area. If you are looking for a lifetime trekking experience, then pack your bags for Annapurna trekking circuit. Mardi Base Camp Trek, also part of the Annapurna circuit, is another alternative route for trekkers who can't afford time. Trekkers can be up close with mountains including the Annapurna Range, Dhaulagiri, Machapuchre and Manasalu in this circuit. This 7-day circuit is attracting many trekkers for obvious reasons.
Actually, when I was 16, back in 2015, I was at a music festival. This music is called bluegrass that I play, and I was at this bluegrass festival, and this person named Tara Linhart. She is amazing. You can talk to her more, but she had a fantastic project called the Mountain Music Project. And I heard this project of Nepali musicians and bluegrass musicians coming together and fusing the music. And I thought it was really, really cool to see this cross-cultural collaboration. But I really just wanted to get back to music. And so I reached out to Tara. I had an opportunity to get some funding. And I emailed her randomly. She was in Bhutan at the time. And I said, hey, I want to set up a music project in Nepal. Can you connect me with some of your buddies? And she got on a WhatsApp call and started giving me the lowdown of how awesome it was. One of the people she introduced me to was actually Prince's father, Sham Nepali. And we met in New Hampshire. And we jammed together and had a great time. And he said, oh, when you get to Nepal, you have to meet my son. He's so great. He'll play music, you'll play music together. I was like, yeah, whatever, okay. Like, every dad is gonna say that about their son. Like, is it gonna be great? Well, then 3 months later, I showed up in Nepal, and I had only brought a mandolin, and I wanted a guitar to write some songs on. So I called up Shamdai, and I said, hey, can I borrow a guitar? He said, yes, come meet my son. And so I met Prince in Kirtipur, and we started playing that day. And then we sat down and we started playing, and it was just like magic. It was just sort of this instant connection. That was pretty special and crazy to me that we grew up on opposite sides of the world, and there are American musicians who I don't vibe with. We don't have a connection. But me and Prince, it was just an instant connection. And so we started jamming together.
It's a love song that my great-grandfather composed. And we're going to fuse with another bluegrass love song. सानी सानी ए झिल्के नानी कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी सानी सानी ए झिल्के नानी कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी हाय हाय कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी चस्मे दाजु झिल्के मिल्के जुल्फी मात्र कोर्ने चस्मे दाजु झिल्के मिल्के जुल्फी मात्र कोर्ने दारी जुङ्गा दन्त देखाई मेरो मन चोर्ने दारी जुङ्गा दन्त देखाई मेरो मन चोर्ने नजिस्काउन हे परुलाई हाय शिवर काकी छोरीलाई नजिस्काउन हे परुलाई हाय शिवर काकी छोरीलाई सानी सानी ए झिल्के नानी कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी हाय हाय कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी जन्म दिने भगवान त हुर्काइदिने आमा जन्म दिने भगवान त हुर्काइदिने आमा कसले हेर यति राम्रो पहिराइदियो जमा कसले हेर यति राम्रो पहिराइदियो जमा सानी सानी ए झिल्के नानी कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी सानी सानी ए झिल्के नानी कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी हाय हाय कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी हाय हाय कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी हाय हाय कति राम्रो कपाल कोरेकी
rain, found my Nellie Kane. Well, she was living in a lonely cabin with son by another man. 5 years she had waited for him, as long as a woman can, as long as a woman can. And I don't know what changed my mind, till then I was a rambling kind of love I can't explain that I had for Nellie Kane. She hired me at work that day to help her till the lands. In the afternoon we planted seeds, in the evening we held hands, in the evening we held hands. And her blue eyes told me everything that a man could want to know. It was then I realized I would never go, I would never go. And I don't know what changed my mind, till then I was a rambling kind of love I can't explain that I had for Nellie Kane. Well, many years have gone by, weeds have grown up tall. I became a father to him, and she became my all. She became my all. And I don't know what changed my mind, till then I was a rambling kind of love I can't explain that I had for Nellie Kane. No, I don't know what changed my mind, till then I was a rambling kind of love I can't explain that I had for Nellie Kane. Well, first of all, I just fell in love with Nepali culture. I love momos, I love dal bhat, I love it all. I love this beautiful country. I think our message to the world, one of them is that we want to show more people the beautifulness of Nepal. I think that from my perspective, I love Nepali folk music, but in this country, sometimes people haven't valued it. They've looked to the West for other influences. And so one of our goals is to bring up Nepali folk and fusing it. We're not just doing pure folk music, but to show that this is a vibrant, evolving history and tradition that is still relevant today. And then I also think to people abroad, and especially to Nepalis, I want to show them that they can take their instruments and their culture and they can bring it to the world, and that it's so amazing. I mean, everyone who I know maybe they don't know so much about Nepal, maybe the only thing they know is that Mount Everest is there. But then once they try a momo, once they hear some music, then they love it. And so we want to just share this music with more people and share the cross-cultural collaboration. I know I've been saying this for a couple of years now, but because we recorded an EP for one day, and then I've been gone from Nepal for the last year, and the hard drive just sat, and no one did anything with the files yet. So we finally got the files going, and we are finally working on our debut EP that will feature a lot of these songs, including the next one, which is one I wrote a couple of years ago.
Cause all day I chug way at work and try to shove down all of the hurt. But sometimes at the end, does it fade on the page and my eyes just run a glaze? 'Cause when the night burns cold, it's when I lose my mind. No, I can't bear this endless ticking of time.
Well, right now we really want to go abroad, and in particular my dream is to bring the band to the US, to these festivals that I grew up going to, because I think it's so cool. I love playing the music that I grew up with, but with tabla on it, and the beat is dropping. It's so awesome. But right now we've been having a little bit of trouble figuring out with the visas, especially right now. So we're working on that. And then also being abroad. It's very difficult when I've moved back to the US recently. And so when we're far away, it's hard we can't make music in the same way. But it also means that the times when we are together, I've been back for a month, are just extra special because we get to make music together.
What if I told you a story of a place shrouded in mystery and steeped in stones? A place where warriors were born and raised, and their path through the mountains still remain to this day. Ajirkot, Gorkha, the unbeaten kingdom.
हामी पाहुनाहरू आउनु हुँदाखेरि हामी यसरी स्वागत गर्छौं अनि अलि-अलि नाचगानहरू देखाउँछौं। मेरो सिंहो नेपाल गाउँकी गोरखामा गर्व लाग्छ जन्मिएछु साँच्चै स्वर्गमा म त नेपालकी छोरी भन्छन् गोर्खाली। जस्तो घाटु चुड्काहरू भन्ने चाहिँ विशेष गरी हुन्छ यहाँ।
For those seeking a luxurious escape, there are stunning lodges that offer an indulgent retreat amidst the rugged beauty of this place. But for the true adventurers, this place has it all, from trekking through dense forest of Nagepokari trails to exploring ancient temples and learning the rich history of the region. So, what do you fancy? Are you the solo explorer, or do you prefer luxury within nature? Or perhaps you are the one who seeks to witness it all. Well, after all, life is a box of chocolates, and this place is filled with surprises. Welcome to the place where magic and reality intertwine, where the wonders of nature are both breathtaking and awe-inspiring. From the elevations of 300 meters to a towering 8,000 meters, this place will leave you mesmerized and in awe.
Nepal projects 3.85 economic growth amid mixed fiscal signals. Rising debt and structural challenges shape outgoing fiscal outlook. NHRC urges action on Gen Z protest rights violations, recommends new accountability law. Nepal suspends non-emergency insurance services at private hospitals amid financial strain. Health Insurance Board revises rates. Everest faces crisis as record climbers spark urgent calls for limits and conservation. Summit years one of congestion and climate impact. Israeli strike in central Gaza reportedly kills a Hamas commander. Ceasefire violations continue. And Nepal opens Women's Asia Games qualifiers with 19 run with over China. Pooja Mahato 63 powers Nepal. Good evening, I'm Suveksha Rajak and you are watching NTV World News Hour, coming to you live from Kathmandu at 2200 hours Nepal time. The details now. Nepal's government is set to unveil the national budget for fiscal year 2026-27 on May 29th, as the economic survey projects economic growth of 3.85% amid rising debt, a widening trade deficit and continued dependence on remittances. Finance Ministry officials say the upcoming budget will prioritize economic reform, job creation, infrastructure completion and stronger governance, while discussions continue over possible salary hikes for government employees after 3 years without revision. The proposed budget ceiling currently stands at around 1.89 trillion rupees, with measures under consideration including tax adjustments and investment in technology and productive sectors. We'll have more on the government's budget priorities, economic challenges, and what the next fiscal plan could mean for citizens in our Issue of the Day segment later in the bulletin. Nepal's National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, has urged the Nepal government to implement its investigation report concerning alleged human rights violations during the Gen Z movement protest on September 8 and 9. According to NHRC spokesperson Dr. Tikaram Pokhrel, the Commission has recommended the introduction of new legislation to ensure accountability and legal action against individuals found responsible for right violations during the incident. The report has reportedly suggested action against several former senior government officials, including the Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli, then Home Minister Ramesh Lekhak, and then Minister for Information and Communications Prithvi Subba Gurung, under a proposed legal framework for human rights accountability. It further recommends additional investigation into the circumstances surrounding the release of then Nakhu prison inmate and Rashtriya Swatantra Party President Rabi Lamechhane, as well as scrutiny of security agencies including the Nepal Army, Nepal Police, Armed Police Force and other administrative and security officials in the Kathmandu Valley. Marking its 26th anniversary, the NHRC also called for broader investigations into statements and activities of various activists and public figures linked to the protest, underscoring ongoing national debate over accountability, protest rights, and state response to civil movements in Nepal. Nepal's Health Insurance Board has suspended all non-emergency insurance services at private hospitals from May 30th, citing mounting financial pressures on the nation's health insurance system. The board said only emergency services will continue under the scheme until further notice, while new cost control measures have also reduced the insured medicine list from 1,289 to 1,170 items. Authorities have additionally revised the long-standing Suvidha Thaili rates for medicines, surgeries, laboratory tests and other services for the first time since the program began. The changes reflect the government's broader effort to stabilize the insurance fund amid growing concerns over sustainability and healthcare financing. Nepal's Mount Everest saw a record 492 climbing permits issued in 2026, making it the busiest season in history and generating over 1.7 billion rupees in royalties. However, veteran climbers and summit participants have raised concern over dangerous congestion in the death zone and worsening environmental degradation linked to climate change. At the Everest Summiteers Summit 2026, climbers urged the government to consider caping permits, tightening entry criteria and improving waste management systems. The debate has intensified over whether Everest's growing popularity is putting lives and the fragile Himalayan ecosystem at increasing risk. We will look more into this in our segment cover story later in the bulletin. Hamas military commander Mohammed Odeh has reportedly been killed in an Israeli strike in central Gaza City, according to local Hamas sources and relatives. The attack targeted a residential building in a crowded market district ahead of the Eid al-Adha holiday, with local medics reporting at least 3 people killed and dozens injured. Israel's military said the operation followed months of intelligence surveillance and targeted buildings allegedly used as a hideout by Odeh and his associates. The strike comes despite an existing ceasefire agreement as violence continues across Gaza, with near daily exchanges between Israeli forces and Palestinian militants. Nepal has begun its campaign in the Women's Cricket Asian Games qualifiers in Malaysia with a 19-run victory over China in the opening match. Batting first after winning the toss, Nepal posted 125 for 5 in their allotted overs, with Pooja Mahato anchoring the innings with a well-compiled 63 off 57 balls, including 6 boundaries. In response, China managed 106 for 5 despite a steady effort from Zhu Mingwei, who top scored with 30 runs as Nepal's bowling attack held firm under pressure. Riya Sharma played a key role with the ball for Nepal, taking 2 wickets, while China's Qiuqi picked up 2 wickets and Wang Wei and Li Xingbing claimed 1 each in a competitive contest. The Six Nations tournament features teams divided into 2 groups, with Nepal placed in Group B alongside China and Indonesia, and the top 3 teams overall qualifying for the 20th Asian Games in Japan, with Nepal set to face Indonesia in their next match. Nepal's economy is projected to grow by 3.85% in this fiscal year, but rising public debt, a widening trade deficit and remittance dependence continue to cast a shadow over the country's financial outlook. Finance Minister Dr. Swarnim Wagle still present the national budget on May 29th with a proposed ceiling of 1.89 trillion rupees and promises of reform-driven, result-oriented spending. We take a closer look at this in our Issue of the Day segment after this short break. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World News Hour. And this is time for our Issue of the Day segment. Nepal's government has projected that the national economy will grow by 3.85% in the current fiscal year. According to the economic survey presented in the House of Representatives by Finance Minister Dr. Swarnim Wagle, the survey outlines key macroeconomic indicators, estimating the country's total economy at 6.6 trillion rupees. With per capita gross national income at $1,535, while noting that agriculture contributes 24% and non-agricultural sectors 76% to GDP, with Bagmati province alone accounting for 36.7%. It also highlights mixed fiscal trends, including low average inflation of 2.13%, rising public debt reaching 2,878 billion rupees, and a widening trade deficit that has increased by 11.2%, even as remittance inflows have surged by 37.7% and foreign exchange reserves remain strong. The new budget for the upcoming fiscal year will be presented in a joint meeting for the Federal Parliament on Friday, May 29th. The budget speech is scheduled to begin at 4 p.m. Speaker Dole Prasad Aryal has informed the members of the House of Representatives and the National Assembly to be present at 3:45 p.m. for the joint meeting to be held at 4 p.m. As per the provisions in the Constitution of Nepal 2072, the budget is presented in a joint meeting of both the houses on Jyeshtha 15 of Nepali calendar every year. Arrangements have been made to present the budget on May 29th on the occasion of Republic Day. Nepal's Ministry of Finance has reached the final stage of preparing the national budget for the upcoming fiscal year 2026-27, with officials stating that the plan is being designed to be more result-oriented than previous budgets. The government aims to shift away from traditional budget practices by prioritizing good governance, economic restructuring, integrated infrastructure development, domestic employment generation, and stronger control over revenue leakage, while also focusing on transitioning Nepal from a remittance-dependent economy to a more productive and digital one.
सिस्टम र हाम्रो संरचनालाई अझ सुधार चुस्त दुस्त गराउनेतर्फ त्यतातर्फ फोकस हुन्छ त्यसले गर्दा केही हाम्रो राजस्व हाम्रो बढ्ने त्यो चान्स देखिन्छ यसको अलावा मैले अघि नै भने एउटा ट्रेडिसनल भयो अथवा कन्भेन्सनल भयो र हामीले नयाँ स्रोतहरू पनि कसरी खोज्न सक्छौं जस्तो अब सबै प्रोजेक्टहरू सबै जुन हामीले प्राथमिकताका प्रोजेक्टहरू सरकारले नै लगानी गर्न नसक्ने अवस्था रहन्छ त्यसमा हामी सार्वजनिक साझेदारी पनि बनाएका छौं मुलुकले जुन सेक्टरलाई अलिकति प्राथमिकता दिएको छ जसलाई फ्ल्यागशिप प्रोजेक्ट भनी डिफाइन गरेको छ त्यसमा रिसोर्स हामीले मोबिलाइज गर्न सक्ने गरेर त्यो स्रोतबाट त्यो एभिन्यूबाट पनि रिसोर्स अलिकति बढी आउँछ भन्ने अपेक्षा हो.
According to the ministry, around 70 to 80% of planning work has already been completed, with an emphasis on completing stalled projects rather than introducing a large number of new initiatives, while also addressing long pending legal and administrative bottlenecks in areas such as forest use, land acquisition and public procurement. Economists have suggested that the budget should focus on job creation and economic dynamism by strengthening key sectors such as agriculture, industry, tourism, energy and technology, with Dr. Roop Khadka emphasizing the need for targeted investment in these areas to support sustainable growth.
रोजगारी कसरी बढाउने भन्ने कुरामा फोकस हुनुपर्ने हुन्छ. त्यस सन्दर्भमा जस्तै कृषि क्षेत्रमा भयो, यो पर्यटन क्षेत्रहरूमा भयो, यो साना तथा मझौला उद्योगहरू हुन्छ नि तिनीहरूमा पनि बढी रोजगारी सृजना हुनाले यी क्षेत्रहरूलाई कसरी प्रमोट गर्ने जसले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ भोलिपछि गएर आर्थिक क्रियाकलाप वृद्धि भई नेपालको चाहिँ आर्थिक स्थिति सुध्रिँदै जाने हुन्छ. त्यसमा चाहिँ फोकस दिनुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ.
The government is also considering policy measures such as reducing value-added tax from 13% to 10%. Improving service delivery by minimizing bureaucracy and middlemen and developing a technology hub for software and AI exports, while the preliminary budget ceiling has been set at 1.89 trillion rupees with a possible upward revision under consideration. Nepal's upcoming national budget for the next fiscal year has placed the issue of government employee salary revision at the center of policy discussions, as public sector wages have reclaimed unchanged for the past 3 years despite rising inflation. With the budget scheduled to be unveiled on May 29th, the government is reportedly preparing a salary adjustment plan based on fiscal capacity and resource availability, amid growing concerns over the rising cost of living and increasing prices of essential goods. On the eve of the budget announcement, the Salary and Allowance Review Committee, chaired by Chief Secretary Suman Raj Aryal and including senior officials from the Ministry of Finance and other ministries, has recommended a structured salary revision linked to inflation and economic indicators. According to the committee's proposal, salary increases could range from around 27% for lower-level employees to nearly 57% for top administrative positions, such as the Chief Secretary, with revised figures suggesting a rise from 77,211 rupees to 1,21,000 rupees for the Chief Secretary and from 27,000 rupees to 35,000 rupees for office assistants. Experts say stagnant wages over multiple years have not only affected the financial well-being of civil servants but have also had wider economic effects on small businesses, the service sector and overall consumption. However, government sources indicate that Finance Minister Swarnim Wagle is considering a possible salary hike of 15 to 25% depending on available fiscal space. Nepal's Everest season has shattered records this spring, with a historic 492 climbing permits issued, over 900 successful summits logged, and a single-day record of 274 climbers reaching the top on May 20th. But as the mountain sees unprecedented traffic, the debate over overcrowding, safety in the death zone, and the survival of Everest's fragile ecosystem has never been more urgent. We take a closer look at this in our cover story segment after this break. Welcome back. You're watching NTV World News Hour, and it's time for our cover story. Nepal's 2026 Mount Everest climbing season has seen record-breaking activity, with authorities issuing 492 climbing permits for the spring expedition window, the highest number ever recorded for the world's tallest peak. According to mountaineering officials, more than 900 successful summit ascents have already been recorded so far this season, including Sherpa guides and foreign climbers, as favorable weather conditions open multiple summit windows in May. The season also witnessed a historic single-day achievement on May 20th, when a record 274 climbers reached the summit from the Nepali side of Everest, renewing concerns over overcrowding and safety in the mountain's high-altitude death zone. Several notable records were set during the season, including veteran Nepali climber Kamirita Sherpa, also known globally as Everest Man, summiting Everest for a record 32nd time, while Lakpa Sherpa extended the women's record with her 11th successful ascent. Mount Everest remains a major pillar of Nepal's tourism economy, generating millions of dollars annually through climbing permits and expedition services, even as experts continue to debate the environmental and safety challenges posed by rising numbers of climbers on the mountain. as the highest number of summiteers conquered Mount Everest this spring. The same debate as usual have arisen. Should the permits be capped to a certain number every season, or more effort be made to preserve the pristine Himalayan ecosystem? These realities took the sharper focus as the Everest Summiteers Summit 2026, a rare convergence of those who have stood atop the world. Sabika Shrestha takes a closer look at the agenda and opinions of the summiteers.
In 2026, Mount Everest witnessed its busiest climbing season in history, with Nepal issuing an unprecedented 492 permits from the southern route. The surge reaffirmed the mountain's unmatched allure and delivered a windfall of over 1.7 billion rupees in royalty revenue. But beyond the numbers lies the more complicated reality. Everest is becoming a victim of its own popularity. Veteran climbers, including Kamirita Sherpa, have begun to sound the alarm. Congestion near the summit, where climbers queue for hours in the dead zone, is no longer an exception. It is fast becoming the norm. Each delay at extreme altitude increases risk, turning ambition into vulnerability. These realities took on sharper focus at the Everest Summiteers Summit 2026, a rare convergence of those who have stood atop the world. More than a ceremonial gathering, it became a platform where lived experiences met urgent advocacy. Summiters described how climate change is visibly reshaping the mountain glaciers retreating, icefall routes becoming unpredictable, and weather patterns growing increasingly erratic. Everest, they stressed, is no longer the same mountain it was even a decade ago.
We need to have stronger regulations in terms of waste, because there are places where you can see waste, like in Camp 4, there's waste definitely. Taking everything back, I think, should be one of the first priority. Also in terms of how many people you have climbing on a specific day, there should be some type of regulations.
A major concern echoed throughout the summit was environmental degradation, particularly at Camp 4, the final staging ground before the summit push. Summiters called for immediate, systematic cleaning operations and stricter enforcement of waste management protocols. Many participants argued that Nepal must move toward regulating climber numbers not as a restriction of ambition, but as a safeguard for lives and the mountain itself.
सरकारले 7,000 मिटर चढेको सार्टिफाई गरेर मात्रै उनीहरूले पर्मिट दिने खालको एउटा चाहिँ रुल चाहिँ बनाउनु पर्छ रुल रेगुलेसन बनायो भने चाहिँ किनभने 7,000 मिटर चढ्यो भने चाहिँ उनीहरुले चाहिँ माउन्टेनियरिङको चाहिँ अलिकति नलेज आउँछ जुनै नेपालको जुनै बेगमा पनि अब चाहिँ गाइड बिना चाहिँ विदेशीहरुलाई चाहिँ अलर्ट नगर्ने खालको बनाउनु पर्छ किनभने चाहिँ धेरै ठाउँमा विदेशीहरु हराइरहेछ आफै गएर हैन सोलो गएर मोड्ने पनि मोडिरहेछ हैन त्यही भएर त्यसले चाहिँ जहिले पनि एउटा गाइड अथवा एउटा पोर्टल लगेर चाहिँ जाने निर्णय चाहिँ सरकारी तहबाट हुनुपर्छ जस्तो चाहिँ मलाई लाग्छ.
Proposals included limiting permits, staggering summit windows, and tightening qualification criteria to ensure only adequately prepared climbers attempt the ascent. Beyond policy, the summit carried a deeper message. Everest is not just a destination, it is a shared responsibility. The Everest Summiteers Summit ultimately reframed the conversation. It shifted the focus from conquest to conservation, from individual achievement to collective accountability. The future of Everest will not be defined by how many reach the top, but by how well it is preserved by those who follow. Sabika Shrestha with camera person Pradyumna Dhungel reporting for NTV World.
In this context, we asked the summiteers from various countries how we can protect Mount Everest ecosystem. Let's have a look at what they say.
While coming back, every small things, whatever the things we can take with us, even small wrapper also we don't keep in on mountains. Ourselves, everybody, every mountaineers, if wish to clean the mountains, even small things happens, and every mountain take part of it.
The formation of the ice and all, millions of years took for the creation, and after that it's just melting. So it is also harassing the nature, the climate change. Every year so many people are just not aware about the mountains, how to save, but they are climbing. So we have to also concern about the how to. We are using continuously so many vehicles, so many populated vehicles. So we have to shift environmental friendly vehicles. Also we have to use the environmental product also. We have to ignore the plastic.
जति पनि हामीले पर्यावरणको सिलसिलामा हामीले जति पनि सामानहरू माथि बोकेर लगाउँथ्यौं चाहिँ एटलिस्ट बेस क्याम्पदेखि तलसम्म ल्याउन सक्यो भने त्यसले केही हदसम्म चाहिँ नियन्त्रण गर्न सकिन्छ के भन्ने मेरो अनुमान।
त्यहाँको फोहोरहरू चाहिँ एकदमै सफा गर्नु पर्यो। विशेष गरी यो क्याम्प 2 क्याम्प 1 को चाहिँ हामीले सफा गर्ने, हामी व्यक्तिगत रूपमा पनि हामी जिम्मेवार भयो भने सफा गर्न सकिने अवस्था छ। तर क्याम्प 4 चाहिँ विशेष गरेर त्यहाँ चाहिँ मैले धेरै यो फोहोरको डङ्गुरहरू देखेँ। अनि त्यहाँ चाहिँ अब त्यो एकदमै अक्सिजन पनि एकदमै कम हुने भएको कारणले त्यहाँ चाहिँ अब नेपाल सरकारले एउटा ठुलो प्रोजेक्ट लानुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ। फोहोरको डङ्गुरहरू चाहिँ क्याम्प 4 मा थुप्रेको छ। अब त्यहाँ चाहिँ पालहरू भनौँ, अब लुगाफाटाहरू, स्लिपिङ ब्यागहरू छोडिदिएको छ। अनि क्याम्प 4 चाहिँ अब सफा गर्नुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई चाहिँ।
फर्स्टली त ग्लोबल वार्मिङ नै हो। अहिले अब एकदमै धेरै पल्युसन भइरहेको कारणले चाहिँ हाम्रो हिमालहरू पग्लिँदै आएको छ। सो हामी समिट गर्ने क्रममा पनि हामीले देख्छौँ त्यो बाटोमा पनि पुरै हिमालहरू सबै पग्लिसकेको छ। त्यहाँनिर जुन खुम्बु आइसफलको बिचमा पनि पुरै खोला बग्छ के, एकदमै ठुलो खोला बग्छ। अनि त्यो हुँदै गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ हाम्रो हिमालहरू बिस्तारै लोप हुन्छ कि भन्ने चाहिँ मलाई लाग्छ है।
मेन भनेको त त्यो अफकोर्स स्नो आर मेल्टिङ हैन, अनि प्लस गार्बेज स्पेशली चाहिँ क्याम्प 4 मा त्यो मैले चाहिँ 2024 मा गरे हो। सो त्यो टाइममा चाहिँ अब मुनि त त्यस्तो खासै त्यस्तो फिल भएन। जब समिट गर्ने टाइममा चाहिँ क्याम्प 4 मा पुग्दा जुन तरिकाको त्यो जुन मैले गार्बेजहरू देखेँ त्यो कुराहरू देख्दा चाहिँ एकदमै दुःख लागेको थियो।
सबैभन्दा ठुलो कुरा चाहिँ राम्रो खालको म्यानेजमेन्ट नै हो हैन। र अर्को कुरा चाहिँ क्लाइम्बर नै अवेर हुनुपर्छ हैन। हामीले चाहिँ अब अरू मान्छेहरूले चाहिँ यहाँ यस्तो गर्नुपर्छ उस्तो गर्नुपर्छ भन्दाखेरि पनि जो चाहिँ मेन क्लाइम्ब गर्ने हो, जो समिट गर्न जाने हो, एभरेस्ट ड्रिम देखेको छ, उसले नै अवेर हुनु पर्यो। अर्को कुरा चाहिँ सगरमाथालाई रेस्पेक्ट हो हैन, सम्मान दिनु पर्यो। त्यो गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अटोमेटिकली हैन सगरमाथामा पोल्युसन फोहोरको कुरा पनि कम हुन सक्छ हैन।
The biggest thing is the trash. And I think Everest and Nepali people are doing really well with that. Everest is commercialized now. More people come, and everybody in their life want to see Everest. So it's really so hard to stop the people. But if we can limit the permits, 150 climbers per year, maybe, or something like that, I think that would be great. But still, it's going to be lost for a lot of businesses.
I think it is very important to take responsibility for our own actions and to, for sure, bring down our own trash, not leave anything behind in the mountains. And be aware and clean up after ourselves.
The environment in high altitude is vulnerable, really. If I leave something behind, I can go the exact same place next year and find this. It will not disappear. We need to make sure we take our trash down, but also we need to make sure that there is an understanding what happened with the trash. Yeah, because if I take a trash down to base camp, it will still be in base camp in 10 years, in 20 years. We need to make sure everything is recycled in a way that is possible.
That was the cover story of the day. Now we move to other updates. Nepal and Switzerland have held the 5th meeting of the Bilateral Consultation Mechanism (BCM) in Kathmandu. Marking 70 years of diplomatic relations between the two countries, the discussions focused on strengthening bilateral cooperation while reviewing political and economic developments in Nepal and identifying new areas of future collaboration. Nepal briefed the Swiss delegation on its current policy priorities, including governance reforms, anti-corruption efforts, transparency, digital transformation, and improvements in public service delivery. Key economic sectors such as hydropower, tourism, and information technology were also highlighted alongside appreciation for Switzerland's continued support in areas like federalism, community forestry, technical education, migration governance, and disaster resilience. Both sides also discussed climate change, multilateral cooperation, and pending agreements, agreeing to expedite memoranda of understanding, while reaffirming that the BCM framework established in 2015 remains a key platform for deepening Nepal-Switzerland relationships. Nepal's Federal Parliament Secretariat says preparations for conducting upcoming parliamentary sessions, including the national budget presentation scheduled for May 29th, are being rapidly completed in the newly constructed Federal Parliament building's main meeting hall. However, officials confirmed that despite initial plans, the budget will not be presented from the main chamber due to pending technical installations and will instead take place in the currently operational meeting room. The new parliamentary hall has been upgraded into a fully digital system featuring electronic voting facilities that allow lawmakers to cast votes directly from their seats, eliminating the need for physical movements during decision-making processes. Western Europe is experiencing an intense record-breaking heat wave, with parts of France and the United Kingdom recording their highest ever May temperatures as a strong heat dome pushes hot air north from Africa. In the northern French coastal city of Saint-Malo, residents say they were caught off guard by the sudden rise in temperatures, with many turning to the sea, fans and shaded public spaces to cope with the heat. Meteorologists say the heat wave could persist through the week, with temperatures in parts of France expected to climb close to 39 degrees Celsius, while officials urge caution despite no declared emergency situation. Likewise, extreme heat and hot winds, commonly known as Lu, are severely affecting daily life in Nepal's southern Tarai Plains, where temperatures have repeatedly crossed 40 degrees Celsius in recent days. Meteorologists say the region is experiencing an ongoing heat wave, with warnings that temperatures this year could approach or even break previous records at several monitoring stations across the country. The Met Division has cautioned that hot conditions are expected to persist today, particularly in the Tarai regions of Sudur Pashchim and Lumini provinces, urging people to take necessary precautions. The Central Investigation Bureau, CIB of Nepal Police, has raided the central office of the Dairy Development Corporation, DDC, in Lainchor over alleged financial irregularities. Police officials said a team seized documents and mobile phones from employees during the search operation. According to CIB spokesperson SP Shivakumar Shrestha, the probe is focused on records related to the purchase and the sale of milk. The investigation is ongoing as authorities examine potential discrepancies in the corporation's financial transactions. In remote mountainous areas and low-lying regions of Nepal, thousands of students face perilous daily journeys just to attend school. They often navigate steep cliffs and endure multi-hour walks through dense forest, facing the risk of wildlife, all in pursuit of their education. Children in Dhakela village of Bardia district face similar hardships every day. With no secondary level school in the village, students must travel through a long stretch of the buffer zone of Bardia National Park to attend school in neighboring localities. Our local correspondent from Bardia, Hominder Thapa, brings a report.
She is Samiksha Dangi, an 8th grade student from Thakela village, Ward number 9 of Bardia district, Nepal. Every morning at 8 a.m., she leaves home and it takes her nearly 2 hours to reach her school. Like Samiksha, 130 other determined students from same village who wish to continue their secondary education have no choice but to travel 5 to 7 kilometers through dense forest to reach Dharma Bhakta Secondary School in Katernia. Thakela and Katernia are neighboring localities situated near Bardia National Park in Bardia district, which makes the risk of wildlife attacks significantly higher. Their daily route is full of challenges, rough and narrow trails, constant fear of wildlife, and even greater danger during the monsoon season. Samiksha says that for schoolgirls, the journey is not only exhausting and filled with fear of wild animals, but also frightening because of encounters with intoxicated individuals along the way.
अब चाहिँ यो बाटो पनि कच्ची छ किन आउँदाखेरि पनि अप्ठ्यारो हुन्छ एउटा कुरा त बाटो पिच पनि होस् अनि स्कुलमा सरले मिलाएर गाडी पनि हाल्दिने मतलब ढकालातिर.
Every day, these students risk their safety simply to attend the school. This is their reality, as the local village school only offers education up to grade 5. Despite these hardships, the children remain determined. However, their parents live with heavy hearts each day until their children return home safely.
समस्या छ बाघ आउँछन् भालु लाग्छन् कहिलेकाहीँ पानी पर्छ केटाकेटीहरुको पानी परेको बेलामा हावाहुरी आउँछ अनि फेरि रुख ढल्छ त्यो रुखको परक्षा एकदम त्यो पराई पनि कहिलेकाहीँ बिग्रिन्छ.
The school administration has repeatedly raised concerns about student safety with the local authorities and the provincial government. Yet, for more than 100 children in Thakela village, the situations remain unchanged and their daily struggle to continue their education continues to go unheard by the authorities.
We have international news coming up next, but before that, let's have a recap of headlines. Nepal projects 3.85 economic growth amid mixed fiscal signals, rising debt and structural challenges shape outgoing fiscal outlook. NHRC urges action on Gen Z protest rights violations, recommends new accountability law. Nepal suspends non-emergency insurance services at private hospitals amid financial strain. Health Insurance Board revised rates. Everest faces crisis as record climbers spark urgent calls for limits and conservation. Summit years one of congestion and climate impact. Israeli strike in central Gaza reportedly kills a Hamas commander. Ceasefire violations continue. And Nepal opens Women's Asia Games qualifiers with 19-run win over China. Pooja Mahato 63 powers Nepal. At least 31 people, including children, have been killed in a major wave of Israeli airstrikes across southern and eastern Lebanon, according to Lebanese health authorities. The Israeli military says it targeted more than 100 Hezbollah sites and fighters, marking one of the heaviest bombardments since a U.S. brokered ceasefire came into effect in April. The escalation follows Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's pledge to intensify military operations against Hezbollah. Speaking at a security cabinet meeting in Jerusalem, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israel was intensifying operations in Lebanon and reinforcing a security buffer zone to protect communities in northern Israel.
צה"ל פועל עם כוחות גדולים בשטח, הוא תופס שטחים שולטים. אנחנו מבצרים את רצועת הביטחון כדי להגן על יישובי הצפון.
Iran's supreme leader, Mustafa Khamenei, has warned that countries in the Middle East will no longer serve as shields for U.S. military bases amid continuing tensions between Iran and the United States. The remarks come despite an ongoing ceasefire and continued negotiations aimed at ending months of regional conflict.
آنچه در این زمین مسلم است، عقربه زمان به عقب بر نمی‌گردد و ملت‌ها و سرزمین‌های منطقه دیگر سپر پایگاه‌های آمریکایی نخواهند بود. آمریکا علاوه بر آن که دیگر نقطه امنی برای شرارت و استقرار پایگاه نظامی در منطقه نخواهد داشت، روز به روز از وضع سابق خود فاصله می‌گیرد.
The Ebola outbreak in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo's Ituri province is worsening as ongoing conflict continues to disrupt containment efforts, with the World Health Organization warning that fighting and displacement are preventing health workers from isolating cases and tracing contacts. At Rampara Hospital, where a suspected Ebola patient recently arrived, medical staff say resources are severely stretched after unrest led to the burning of an isolation ward, forcing patients into unsafe conditions as aid group Alima begins constructing a new treatment center. Health officials report that around 220 suspected deaths have been linked to the outbreak so far, while thousands of contacts remain under monitoring amid major gaps in testing and access. Business news coming up next. For now, a short breather.
NVIDIA says it will increase its investment in Taiwan to around $150 billion a year, according to CEO Jensen Huang speaking at an event in Taipei. The U.S. chip giant chief described Taiwan as the epicenter of the AI revolution, saying the island is booming and will remain central to global artificial intelligence development. Huang said NVIDIA's spending, up from around $100 billion, will help build a stronger technology ecosystem and expand its engineering base in the region. Taiwan is already a global hub for semiconductor manufacturing, with companies like TSMC and Foxconn playing key roles in NVIDIA's supply chain for advanced AI chips and data center systems. Employees at Samsung Electronics have approved a new bonus agreement with management following concerns over a potential strike during a period of surging chip profits driven by the global artificial intelligence boom. The deal was backed by more than 73% of union members and ensures tens of thousands of workers will receive performance-linked payouts tied to the company's semiconductor division earnings. Samsung has seen profits soar in recent quarters as demand for AI-powered memory chips continues to rise, with operating income jumping sharply year on year and its market value crossing the $1 trillion mark. The agreement is seen as a move to retain skilled engineering talent amid fierce global competition, as South Korea's chip industry remains central to the country's export-driven economy.
With that, we move on to sports. A public roster reveal event for an upcoming FIFA World Cup campaign drew large crowds in New York, where fans gathered to see the final squad selection announced. During a press conference, head coach Mauricio Pochettino said he didn't sleep much in the weeks leading up to the announcement, describing the decision-making process as painful. He explained that the selection was guided by the need to achieve the best balance in the 26 players chosen for the tournament squad. And now, the weather updates, first from across Nepal and then the world. And before we wrap up, here's a reminder of our top stories. Nepal projects 3.85 economic growth amid mescal fiscal signals, rising debt and structural challenges shape outgoing fiscal outlook. NHRC urges action on Gen Z protest rights violations, recommends new accountability law. Nepal suspends non-emergency insurance services at private hospitals amid financial strain. Health Insurance Board revises rates. Everest faces crisis as record climbers spark urgent calls for limits and conservation. Summit hears warn of congestion and climate impact. Israeli strike in central Gaza reportedly kills a Hamas commander. Ceasefire violations continue. And Nepal opens Women's Asia Games qualifiers with 19-run win over China. Pooja Mahato's 63 powers Nepal. And that's it for this edition of NTV World News Hour. I'm Suveksha Rajak and thank you for staying with us. Good night.